Mistletoe Madness. First edition published by I2I Hype, LLC 2024. Copyright 2024 by Win Valentine, all rights reserved. No part of this publication may be reproduced, stored or transmitted in any form or by any means, electronic, mechanical, photocopying, recording, scanning, or otherwise without written permission from the publisher. It is illegal to copy this book, post it to a website, or distribute it by any other means without permission. This novel is entirely a work of fiction. The names, characters, and incidents portrayed in it are the work of the author's imagination. Any resemblance to actual persons, living or dead, events or localities is entirely coincidental. Win Valentine asserts the moral right to be identified as the author of this work. Designations used by companies to distinguish their products are often claimed as trademarks. All brand names and product names used in this book and on its cover are trade names, service marks, trademarks, and registered trademarks of their respective owners. The publishers in the book are not associated with any product or vendor mentioned in this book. None of the companies referenced within the book have endorsed the book. First edition. Chapter 1, Interrupted I-Do's. In the heart of Merry Hollow, the town square buzzed with an energy that rivaled the enchanted Christmas tree itself. Holly Evergreen, her curly red hair peeking out from under her pointed witch hat, dashed from one end of the square to the other, a clipboard clutched tightly in her hand. She checked off items with a flourish, her green eyes scanning the list with a mixture of excitement and apprehension. "Jack, have you seen the mistletoe?" she called out, her voice carrying over the hum of the townsfolk setting up for the wedding. Jack Frost, his silver hair catching the light of the magical lanterns, looked up from the ice sculpture he was meticulously crafting. "Last I saw, it was with Mrs. Claus. She was adding some final touches." Holly nodded, making a note on her clipboard. "And the peppermint hot chocolate? We can't have a Merry Hollow wedding without it." Jack smiled, his ice blue eyes twinkling. "Already taken care of. The elves are setting up the hot chocolate station as we speak." As Holly turned to thank him, a sudden warmth spread through the square. The air shimmered, and in the center, where the enchanted Christmas tree stood, a blazing bonfire sprang to life. The flames danced and crackled, casting a golden glow that was entirely out of place in the eternal winter of Merry Hollow. Holly's eyes widened, her clipboard forgotten. "Jack, what's happening?" Jack stepped away from his ice sculpture, his brow furrowed in confusion. "I have no idea. This isn't our magic." The townsfolk paused in their preparations, drawn to the spectacle. The bonfire grew, and with it, the warmth intensified. The scent of summer flowers filled the air, clashing with the usual peppermint and pine. Holly approached the bonfire cautiously, her hands raised as if to ward off the heat. "This feels like Midsummer Night's magic." Jack joined her, his gaze fixed on the flames. "But how? Midsummer Night is nowhere near Christmas." The bonfire flickered, and for a moment, Holly thought she saw figures dancing within the flames. She shook her head, trying to clear her thoughts. "We need to find out what's causing this. The wedding can wait." Jack nodded, his expression serious. "Agreed. Let's start by..." His words were cut off as a group of townsfolk, their faces flushed from the unexpected heat, gathered around them. "Holly, Jack, what's going on?" one of them asked, her voice filled with concern. Holly turned to them, her resolve strengthening. "We don't know yet, but we're going to find out. For now, let's make sure everyone stays safe and away from the fire." The bonfire's sudden appearance sent a ripple of panic through the gathered guests. Children clung to their parents, eyes wide with fear and wonder. The townsfolk murmured, their voices rising in a crescendo of concern. The scent of summer flowers grew stronger, clashing with the familiar aroma of pine and peppermint. Holly turned to Jack, her eyes reflecting the dancing flames. We can't have the wedding like this. We need to find out what's happening. Jack nodded, his gaze sweeping over the chaotic scene. Agreed. Let's gather everyone. They quickly convened their closest friends and family, Mrs. Claus, the elves, and a few trusted townsfolk. Holly's voice cut through the din, steady and reassuring. We need to postpone the wedding. Something's not right, and we have to figure out what's causing this. Mrs. Claus stepped forward, her usually jovial face etched with worry. What can we do to help, dear? Holly looked at Jack, then back at the group. For now, keep everyone calm and away from the fire. We'll be back as soon as we have more information. With their team assembled, Holly and Jack made their way to the town hall, where Brigadier Nutcracker stood guard. His wooden face, usually stern, was creased with concern. Brigadier, Holly began, her voice urgent, we need your help. There's a magical anomaly in the town square, and we don't know what's causing it. Brigadier Nutcracker's eyes, small and beady, flicked from Holly to Jack. This is grave news indeed. The balance of Merry Hollow's magic is delicate. Such an anomaly could disrupt the very foundation of our town. Jack leaned in, his voice low. What do you think it could be? We've never seen anything like this before. The brigadier paused, his wooden joints creaking as he shifted his stance. There are tales of ancient artifacts, magical relics that can alter the very fabric of our world. If one of these has been activated, the consequences could be catastrophic. Holly's eyes widened. What kind of artifacts? And how do we stop them? Brigadier Nutcracker's gaze hardened. We must consult the town's archives. There may be records of such artifacts and how to neutralize them. But be warned, this will not be an easy task. The magic of Merry Hollow is powerful, but it is not without its dangers. Holly turned to the anxious crowd, her voice steady and reassuring. Everyone, please don't worry. Jack and I will get to the bottom of this. In the meantime, let's all stay calm and enjoy some peppermint hot chocolate. The elves have worked hard to make sure we have plenty to go around. Jack stepped forward, his gaze sweeping over the townsfolk. We promise, we'll find out what's causing this and fix it. Merry Hollow has faced challenges before, and we've always come out stronger. Mrs. Claus nodded, her eyes reflecting the dancing flames. We trust you, Holly and Jack. Do what you need to do. We'll hold down the fort here. With their guests reassured, Holly and Jack exchanged a determined look. They knew the task ahead was daunting, but their resolve was unshakable. Holly reached out, her hand finding Jack's. His fingers intertwined with hers, a silent promise of support and unity. Together, they turned away from the chaotic town square, their steps synchronized as they set off on their investigation. The bonfire's flickering flames cast long, dancing shadows behind them, reflecting in their determined eyes. The warmth of the summer magic clashed with the eternal winter of Merry Hollow, creating an unsettling atmosphere that only strengthened their resolve. As they left the square, the scent of summer flowers began to fade, replaced by the familiar aroma of pine and peppermint. The air grew colder, the heat of the bonfire diminishing with each step they took. The town's magic seemed to hum around them, a symphony of enchantments that were now slightly off-key. Holly glanced at Jack, her eyes reflecting the glow of the magical lanterns that lined the streets. Where do we start? Jack's gaze was focused, his mind already racing with possibilities. The town hall. If there's any record of this kind of magic, it'll be there. Plus, Brigadier Nutcracker might have more insights. Holly nodded, her grip on Jack's hand tightening. Let's go. The sooner we find out what's happening, the sooner we can save Merry Hollow. Their footsteps echoed through the deserted streets, the usual cheer of the town replaced by an eerie silence. The magical anomaly had drawn everyone to the town square, leaving the rest of Merry Hollow eerily quiet. The only sound was the distant hum of the bonfire, a constant reminder of the task ahead. As they approached the town hall, the grand building stood tall and imposing, its magical wards shimmering in the dim light. The brigadier stood at the entrance, his wooden face set in a stern expression. He nodded at their approach, his gaze flicking to the town square behind them. "Brigadier," Holly began, her voice filled with urgency. "We need your help. The town's magic is in danger, and we need to find out why." The brigadier's eyes narrowed, his wooden joints creaking as he straightened. "I feared as much. The balance of Mary Hollow is delicate, and this anomaly threatens to upset it completely. Come, we must consult the archives immediately." With the brigadier leading the way, Holly and Jack stepped into the town hall, their hearts heavy with the weight of their mission. The flickering flames of the bonfire reflected in their determined eyes, hinting at the magical journey ahead. Chapter 2: The Yule Lodestone. Holly and Jack followed the shimmering trail of magic, its iridescent hues dancing through the air like a spectral aurora. The path led them away from the town hall, winding through the cobblestone streets of Mary Hollow until they stood before an ancient stone building, its facade covered in ivy and frost. The sign above the door creaked gently in the winter breeze, the words "Mary Hollow Library" etched into the weathered wood. "The magic leads here?" Holly whispered, her breath misting in the cold air. She glanced at Jack, her green eyes reflecting the dancing lights of the magical trail. Jack nodded, his gaze fixed on the entrance. "It seems our answers are hidden within these walls." They stepped inside, the heavy oak door groaning shut behind them. The library was dimly lit, the air thick with the scent of old parchment and dust. Rows of towering bookshelves stretched out before them, their surfaces coated in a thin layer of frost. The magical trail flickered, guiding them deeper into the labyrinth of knowledge. Holly's fingers traced the spines of the books as they walked, the leather bindings cold to the touch. She could feel the hum of magic within the pages, the stories of Mary Hollow's past whispering to her. Jack's steps echoed beside her, his ice-blue eyes scanning the shelves, his analytical mind piecing together the puzzle of their predicament. The trail led them to a dusty corner, the magic pulsating brighter as they approached. A small, unassuming book lay on the floor, its cover worn and tattered. Holly reached down, her hand hovering over the book for a moment before picking it up. As she did, the magical trail flickered and vanished, absorbed into the pages within her grasp. "What is it?" Jack asked, his voice low, his breath visible in the chilled air. Holly opened the book, her eyes widening as she read the inscription on the first page. "It's a journal. It belongs to one of Mary Hollow's founders." As she flipped through the pages, a small, glowing object tumbled out, clattering onto the floor. It pulsed with strange, colorful lights, casting an ethereal glow over the dusty corner of the library. Holly and Jack exchanged a look, the weight of their discovery settling over them like a heavy cloak. "The Yule Lodestone," Holly whispered, her voice barely audible. The artifact pulsed in response, its lights flickering in a rhythm that seemed to echo the beating of their hearts. The magic of Mary Hollow hummed around them, the air crackling with an energy that was both familiar and foreign, a symphony of holidays intertwined in a dance as old as time itself. Holly's fingers traced the pulsating lights of the Yule Lodestone, its energy humming beneath her touch. Suddenly, the sharp click of boots on the wooden floor echoed through the library. Brigadier Nutcracker appeared from the shadows, his uniform crisp, his wooden face carved into a stern expression. "Brigadier," Holly acknowledged, her voice a whisper. "You know about this?" Nutcracker nodded, his painted eyes fixed on the lodestone. "That artifact has been hidden for centuries. It's the Yule Lodestone, a beacon for holiday magics. It draws them in, amplifies them." Jack's brow furrowed, his gaze shifting from the lodestone to the Nutcracker. "Why was it hidden?" "The founders of Mary Hollow used it to harness the winter spirits, creating the eternal Christmas that had become the town's hallmark. But its power was unpredictable and wild, like a storm that could change direction at any moment. Left unchecked, it could attract and manifest any holiday magic indiscriminately, inviting chaos into their carefully maintained world. Nutcracker's voice was grave, his wooden joints creaking ominously as he stood at attention, the weight of his duty etched into every line of his carved face. Holly's grip tightened around the lodestone, her knuckles turning white as she felt the raw, untamed power throbbing beneath her fingers. The thought of Mary Hollow succumbing to magical anarchy sent a shiver down her spine. "We can't let that happen," she whispered, her voice barely audible yet filled with determination. Mary Hollow wouldn't survive the chaos. Everything we know and love would be torn apart. Jack placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder, his touch steady and calming. His ice-blue eyes reflected the lodestone's pulsating lights as he gazed at it, his mind already working through potential solutions. "We need to control it, contain its power," he said, his voice firm with resolve. "We can't afford to let this force run wild." Nutcracker reached into his coat, his carved fingers pulling out a small, intricately carved charm. It was a miniature nutcracker, its surface etched with runes that glowed softly, casting dancing shadows on the wooden floor. "This charm will suppress the lodestone's attraction power temporarily," he explained, holding it out towards them. "But mark my words, it's not a permanent solution. We'll need to find a way to truly control the lodestone's magic." Holly took the charm from him with a nod of thanks, her fingers tracing the delicate runes. As she brought the charm closer to the lodestone, the artifact's pulsating lights dimmed, its hum quieting to a gentle murmur. The air in the library seemed to sigh in relief, the tension easing as the immediate threat was contained. Yet, they all knew this was just the beginning. The true challenge lay ahead, hidden in the uncertain path towards mastering the Yule Lodestone's wild magic. "What do we do next?" Holly asked, looking up at Jack and Nutcracker, her green eyes reflecting the soft glow of the charm. The question hung in the air, a challenge waiting to be met. Holly tucked the Yule Lodestone and the suppressing charm into her satchel, the weight of their discovery pressing heavily on her shoulders. She exchanged a determined look with Jack, his ice-blue eyes reflecting the dim library lights. "We need to keep it safe," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "Let's take it home." Jack nodded, his gaze sweeping over the ancient books surrounding them. "Agreed. We can't risk leaving it here." They made their way out of the library, the heavy oak door creaking shut behind them. The streets of Mary Hollow were quiet, the usual hum of festive activities subdued by the lingering unease from the bonfire's appearance. The lodestone's glow peeked out from Holly's satchel, casting dancing shadows on the cobblestone path. As they walked, Holly's mind raced, sifting through potential solutions. "We could try to reverse the lodestone's activation," she suggested, her breath misting in the cold air. "Or maybe find a way to channel its power safely." Jack listened, his brow furrowed in thought. "Those are good starting points. But we need to understand why it activated now. What's changed?" Holly bit her lip, her green eyes scanning the familiar streets as if seeking answers in the frost-kissed windows and wreath-adorned doors. "The bonfire appeared after we announced our wedding. Could it be related to that?" Jack's stride slowed, his gaze shifting to Holly. "You mean, our union might have triggered something?" She shrugged, her curls bouncing gently. "It's worth considering. We've both grown and changed over the past year. Maybe our combined magic had an effect on the lodestone." A small smile played at the corners of Jack's mouth. "That's a theory worth investigating." They turned onto Candy Cane Lane, their home coming into view. The gingerbread house stood warm and inviting, its frosted eaves glinting under the moonlight. The lodestone's glow seemed to brighten, its pulsating lights casting a kaleidoscope of colors on the snow-covered path. Holly paused at the door, her hand on the knob. "Whatever happens, we face it together," she said, her voice steady with resolve. Jack covered her hand with his touch warm and reassuring. Together, he echoed, his eyes reflecting the lodestone's dance of light. As they stepped inside, the lodestone's glow filled their home, illuminating the cozy interior with a symphony of colors. The challenges ahead were uncertain, but one thing was clear: Holly and Jack were united, their bond stronger than any magic they might face. Chapter 3: Town Meeting Turmoil. Holly and Jack stood on the town hall stage, their hands clasped together, an island of calm amidst the murmuring sea of Merry Hollow residents. The hum of conversation buzzed through the air, a blend of curiosity and concern etched on every face. The Christmas tree in the corner twinkled merrily, its lights reflecting off the polished wooden floor, a stark contrast to the tense atmosphere. Holly stepped forward, her green eyes scanning the crowd. She took a deep breath, her voice steady and clear. "Thank you all for coming on such short notice. Jack and I have something important to share." The room hushed, all eyes turning to the couple. Jack squeezed Holly's hand, his ice blue gaze sweeping over the assembled townsfolk. "We've discovered something," he began, his voice commanding attention. "An ancient artifact hidden beneath our town square. It's called the Yule Lodestone." A ripple of whispers spread through the crowd. Holly raised a hand, silencing them. "The lodestone has the power to attract holiday magics," she explained. "It's been dormant for centuries, but now, it's active. And it's causing chaos." Jack nodded, his expression grave. "The bonfire, the sudden appearance of different holiday traditions, it's all connected to the lodestone. If we don't control it, Merry Hollow's Christmas magic could be overwritten, or worse, destroyed." Gasps echoed through the hall. Mrs. Claus, seated in the front row, clutched her hands to her chest, her eyes wide with alarm. "But what can we do?" she asked, her voice trembling. Holly looked at Jack, then back to the crowd. "We have a plan," she said, her voice filled with determination. "But we need your help. All of you." As Holly and Jack finished explaining the Yule Lodestone's power, a sudden gust of wind swept through the town hall, extinguishing candles and sending decorations fluttering. The Christmas tree lights flickered wildly, and in a burst of sparkles, a troop of dancing skeletons, adorned in vibrant Dia de los Muertos attire, their painted faces grinning, appeared, rattling and twirling across the stage to a phantom melody. Gasps and screams filled the air as the townsfolk scrambled away from the unexpected visitors, some clutching each other in alarm. In the far corner, a massive cornucopia materialized with a thud, its open end spilling an endless stream of pumpkin pies onto the floor, their sweet, spicy scent filling the room. A group of pilgrims and Native Americans, spectral and shimmering, emerged from the abundance, looking around in confusion. Panic surged as a procession of Chinese New Year dragons snaked through the crowd, their long, scaled bodies undulating to the beat of unseen drums, the clash of cymbals echoing through the hall. "Everyone, stay calm," Holly shouted, but her voice was drowned out by the chaos. Residents clashed with the newcomers, trying to shoo them away, only to be met with bewilderment or resistance. Some attempted to use their magic, but their spells fizzled or misfired, adding to the commotion. Jack stepped forward, his hands raised in a peacekeeping gesture. "Please, everyone, let's not act rashly," he called out, his voice steady and commanding. He turned to the Dia de los Muertos skeletons, switching to flawless Spanish: "Amigos, estamos aquí para ayudar. No queremos hacerles daño. Por favor, denos un momento para resolver esto." The skeletons paused, their empty eye sockets fixed on Jack, waiting, their rattling bones the only sound in the sudden hush. Holly climbed onto a chair, her green eyes scanning the frightened crowd. She took a deep breath, her voice filled with emotion. "Friends, neighbors, please listen," she began, her words cutting through the din. "These beings are not here to harm us. They're drawn to the lodestone, just like our own magic. They're lost, confused, just like we are. And they deserve our kindness and understanding." The room quieted, the townsfolk turning their attention to Holly. She continued, her voice steady and soothing. We need to work together, to understand each other. This is our town, our magic, and we decide how to handle this. But we must do it with kindness and open hearts. We must embrace the spirit of all holidays, not just our own. Jack nodded, stepping beside Holly. He addressed the Pilgrims and Native Americans, his voice respectful. We mean no disrespect to your traditions. We're trying to understand why you're here, and how we can coexist peacefully. We want to learn about your feasts, your celebrations. The spectral figures exchanged glances, their forms flickering like candlelight. One of the pilgrims stepped forward, his voice echoing as if from a great distance. We are memories given form, drawn by the power of this place. We seek only to share our feast, to celebrate our own traditions. To find a place at the table of this magical realm. Holly smiled, her eyes shining with unshed tears. Then let's find a way to celebrate together, she said, her voice filled with hope. Let's set a table where all are welcome, where every tradition has a place. Let's make Merry Hollow a beacon of unity, of shared joy. The town hall buzzed with a mix of excitement and apprehension, the air thick with the scent of pine and peppermint. On one side, Mrs. Claus and the caroling chorus huddled together, their eyes wide with worry. This isn't right, Mrs. Claus murmured, her hands wringing a candy cane-striped handkerchief. We can't have all these other holidays disrupting our Christmas. It's unheard of. Across the room, the younger residents gathered, their faces alight with curiosity and enthusiasm. But think about it, argued Mistletoe Marie, the barista from the gingerbread grind, her eyes sparkling with excitement. This could be amazing. A blend of traditions, all coexisting. Imagine what we could learn and experience. Brigadier Nutcracker, standing stiffly beside the towering Christmas tree, cleared his throat with a sound like wooden blocks clicking together. The room quieted, all eyes turning to him. Ladies and gentlemen, he began, his wooden jaw clicking with each word. I propose a plan. We must create a harmony circle, a ritual to stabilize and integrate these new magics. It's our best chance to restore balance to Merry Hollow. Holly stepped forward, her green eyes scanning the crowd, taking in the mix of fear and hope etched on their faces. Brigadier is right, she said, her voice filled with determination. We can't just push these traditions away. They're here, and we need to find a way to coexist peacefully. It's the only way to protect our town and our magic. Jack nodded, his ice blue gaze sweeping over the assembled townsfolk, his expression serious yet hopeful. But we need everyone's help, he emphasized. This isn't something Holly and I can do alone. We need your support, your magic, and your belief in our community. A murmur rippled through the crowd. Some nodded eagerly, ready to embrace the change, while others crossed their arms, uncertainty and fear etched on their faces. Holly took a deep breath, her voice steady and clear, her resolve unwavering. We understand your fears, she said. Change is never easy, and this is uncharted territory for all of us. But we must face this together. It's the only way to protect Merry Hollow and everything we hold dear. Jack turned to the skeptical group led by Mrs. Claus, his expression softening. Change can be scary, he acknowledged. But think of it as an opportunity. A chance to grow, to learn, to make Merry Hollow even stronger and more vibrant than before. This could be a new beginning for all of us. Mrs. Claus looked at Holly and Jack, then at the expectant faces around her. She took a deep breath, her shoulders squaring as she seemed to make up her mind. Very well, she said, her voice resolute and filled with newfound determination. What do we need to do? Brigadier Nutcracker nodded approvingly, his wooden face creaking into a small smile. Each of you will contribute a small token representing your magic, he explained. Something that embodies your unique gift. Together, these tokens will form the Harmony Circle, a beacon of unity and stability that will help us integrate these new traditions. The room buzzed with a mix of hope and tension, the air filled with whispers and murmurs. Residents began to discuss what tokens they could contribute, their voices filled with a blend of excitement and nervousness. Ideas floated through the air, each one a testament to their unique magic and their willingness to try. Holly and Jack exchanged a glance, a silent understanding passing between them. They knew the road ahead was uncertain, but they were ready to face it together. As the meeting adjourned, Holly and Jack stood side by side, their hands clasped together, a united front against the challenges to come. The townsfolk milled around them, some offering words of support, others still voicing their concerns. But in every face, there was a spark of determination, a willingness to try, to adapt, and to embrace the change that had swept into their magical town. And for now, that was enough. Holly and Jack prepared to lead the town in the next steps of their plan, their hearts filled with a mix of hope, resolve, and love for their community. Chapter 4: Winter Spirits Return. Holly and Jack stepped out of the town hall, the chill in the air nipping at their noses. The square was empty, save for the towering Christmas tree and the faint glow of the lodestone tucked safely in Holly's satchel. Suddenly, a gust of wind swept through, carrying with it a flurry of snow and a familiar, eerie whisper. Jack Frost. The voice echoed, crystalline and cold. The winter spirits from their past adventures materialized, their forms shimmering like ice under the moonlight. The tallest among them, a spirit with hair like frost-covered branches, stepped forward. We have come to claim our place in Merry Hollow. Jack moved swiftly, positioning himself between the spirits and Holly. His breath misted in the air, ice crystals forming around him as he drew upon his magic. What do you mean, claim your place? He demanded, his voice steady and calm, a stark contrast to the biting wind. The spirit's eyes, like two chips of ice, narrowed. We are tired of being ignored, of being pushed to the outskirts. The magic that fuels this town is as much ours as it is yours. Its gaze swept over the square, lingering on the Christmas tree. We demand representation, a voice in the affairs of Merry Hollow. Jack's expression remained neutral, but his eyes sharpened, calculating. And what makes you think you deserve such a privilege? He asked, not unkindly, but with a firmness that brooked no nonsense. The spirit bristled, its form crackling with cold energy. We are the essence of winter, the very heart of the season you claim to celebrate. Without us, there is no Merry Hollow. It gestured to the other spirits, their forms flickering with anticipation. We have been patient, but no more. We want a seat at the table, or we will take what is rightfully ours. Holly watched the exchange, her heart pounding. She knew the spirits were right, they were as much a part of the town's magic as anyone else. But she also knew that giving in to their demands without careful consideration could lead to more chaos. She stepped forward, her voice steady despite the chill. We understand your concerns, and we're willing to listen. But this isn't the way to go about it. Jack nodded, his gaze never leaving the spirit's face. We need to find a solution that works for everyone, he said, his voice firm yet diplomatic. But threats won't get us there. Let's sit down and talk, figure out a way to integrate your voices without disrupting the balance of the town. The spirit hesitated, its icy gaze flicking between Jack and Holly. The wind howled, whipping snow around them, but Jack stood his ground, his expression unyielding. After a moment, the spirit nodded, the tension in its shoulders easing slightly. Very well, it said, its voice like the first crack of ice on a frozen lake. We will talk. But know this, Jack Frost, we will not be silenced any longer. The wind whipped around them, carrying whispers of the spirit's long-held grievances. We've been silenced, pushed aside for too long, one spirit hissed, its form a swirl of snow and ice. The magic of Merry Hollow is unbalanced, and it's affecting us all. We can't remain invisible any longer. Holly's eyes widened, the Yule Lodestone in her satchel pulsing with a soft, rhythmic glow, responding to the spirit's unrest. She stepped forward, her voice steady and clear against the howling wind. "We understand your concerns and we hear your voices. What if we formed a council? A place where each tradition has a representative, where we can discuss and address these imbalances together, in harmony." The tallest spirit, its eyes gleaming like shards of ice, considered her words carefully. "A council, you say? A seat at the table for each of us, where our voices will truly be heard." Holly nodded, her red curls bouncing with determination. "Yes. A chance to be heard, to work together to maintain the magical balance. But," she added, her voice firm yet compassionate, "it must be a collaboration. We can't have chaos and unreasonable demands. We need to find a way to coexist peacefully, to respect each other's traditions and powers." The spirits exchanged glances, their forms flickering with thought and a hint of hope. The tallest one turned back to Holly and Jack, its voice resonating like the first crack of ice on a frozen lake at dawn. "We agree, but on one condition: we want a say in all decisions affecting Mary Hollow's magic. No more secrets kept from us, no more silencing our voices. We must be equal partners in this." Jack's eyebrows raised, but he nodded slowly, understanding the gravity of their request. "That's fair. We need to build trust, and that starts with open and honest communication. We'll ensure every voice is heard and considered." He looked at Holly, a silent understanding passing between them. They turned back to the spirits, their voices united in resolve. "We'll make it happen. We'll find a way to integrate you into the town's governance and future plans." The spirits' forms softened, the harsh wind dying down to a gentle, peaceful breeze. The tallest one extended a hand, a symbol of their new alliance and trust. "Then we have an accord. We will join this council and work together for the good of all, for the harmony of Mary Hollow and its magical traditions." Holly and Jack each took the spirit's hand, their grips firm and sure. The deal was struck, the first step towards a more balanced, more united Mary Hollow. As they released hands, the lodestone's glow steadied, its pulsing light a beacon of hope in the cold night. The spirits dispersed, their forms melting into the cold night air, leaving Holly and Jack alone in the square. The first snowflakes of the season began to fall, dancing in the glow of the town's lights. Holly turned to Jack, her green eyes reflecting the soft luminescence of the lodestone. "We did it," she said, her breath visible in the chilled air. A small smile played on her lips, relief evident in the subtle relaxation of her shoulders. Jack mirrored her expression, his ice-blue eyes warm with shared accomplishment. "We did," he agreed, reaching out to tuck a stray curl back into her ponytail. His fingers lingered, brushing against her cheek. "Together." Holly leaned into his touch, her gaze drifting to the falling snow. "It's beautiful," she murmured. "Like a fresh start." Jack followed her gaze, his arm wrapping around her shoulders. "It is," he said, pulling her close. "And tomorrow, we'll take another step towards unity." Across the town, residents began preparations for the council meeting. Lights flickered on in windows, casting warm hues onto the snow-kissed streets. The scent of pine and peppermint wafted through the air as candles were lit and decorations adjusted. A hum of anticipation buzzed through Mary Hollow, a mix of excitement and apprehension. In the town hall, Brigadier Nutcracker directed a team of helpers, arranging chairs in a circle around the towering Christmas tree. He paused, looking out at the square where Holly and Jack stood. A rare smile softened his wooden features before he turned back to his task, barking orders with renewed vigor. Back in the square, Holly and Jack stood in comfortable silence, watching the snowflakes mingle with the town's lights. Their breaths synchronized, puffs of white mist rising in the cold air. They looked at each other, a shared understanding passing between them. They had made progress, and tomorrow, they would face whatever came next, side by side. As the snow began to accumulate, blanketing the cobblestones in white, Holly and Jack turned towards the town hall. Hand in hand, they walked away from the square, their footprints marking a path of unity and hope. The lodestone's glow pulsed gently in Holly's satchel, a beacon of their cautious optimism for the council meeting ahead. Chapter 5, Sugar Magic Mayhem. Holly raised her hands, palms out, as she faced the chaotic carnival celebration spilling into Merry Hollow's streets. Vibrant colors and wild music clashed with the town's usual Christmas charm. She took a deep breath, tapping into her newly discovered sugar magic. "Let's give them something sweet to focus on," she murmured, attempting to weave a spell that would calm the revelers. Her fingers danced, tracing intricate patterns in the air as she drew upon her newfound sugar magic. She envisioned candy canes and gingerbread, aiming to infuse the chaotic carnival scene with a comforting holiday scent, hoping to calm the revelers. But the magic reacted unpredictably, sparking and fizzing like sherbet in sunlight, as if resisting her control. Above, the sky darkened unexpectedly, clouds churning with a power that seemed to mirror the turmoil below. "Holly, what's happening?" Jack called out, his voice barely audible over the sudden roar of the crowd. The first drops of rain fell, not as water, but as sticky, multicolored candy, splattering on the cobblestones. Gasps turned to cheers as children darted out, hands cupped to catch the sweet downpour, their laughter adding to the cacophony. Holly's eyes widened, her control over the magic slipping further. The candy rain intensified, pelting down in a chaotic mix of flavors and textures. Peppermint sticks clattered against cobblestones, gumdrops bounced off rooftops like tiny, colorful hailstones, and marshmallows plopped onto the ground, creating a sugary obstacle course that sent more than one reveler slipping and sliding. Jack rushed to her side, his ice blue eyes scanning the chaos, taking in the surreal scene. "We need to stabilize this," he said, his voice steady and calm despite the commotion. He reached out, his hands covering hers, lending his cool, calming ice magic to her spiraling sugar spell. Together, they fought to regain control. Holly's breath hitched as she felt Jack's magic intertwine with hers, a delicate dance of ice and sugar. The rain began to ease, the candy falling in a more orderly fashion, but the spell remained volatile, threatening to explode into chaos once more at any moment. "We need to redirect it," Jack suggested, his brow furrowed in concentration. "Somewhere it can't cause more trouble." Holly nodded, her mind racing as she searched for a solution. She spotted the town's giant Christmas tree, its lights twinkling merrily amidst the chaos, a beacon of festive spirit. "The tree," she said, her voice firm with resolve. "We'll guide the magic there, use it to amplify the holiday spirit and reinforce Merry Hollow's Christmas charm." Jack's grip on her hands tightened, a silent agreement and a show of support. United, they turned their focus towards the tree, their combined magic struggling to herd the wild sugar storm. The candy rain began to curve midair, a glittering, colorful arc that defied gravity, drawn inexorably towards the towering symbol of Merry Hollow's Christmas spirit, as if the magic itself sought the heart of the town's festive energy. Holly and Jack watched as the last of the candy rain splattered onto the cobblestones, the Christmas tree now a towering beacon of sugary delight. The townsfolk, initially bewildered, began to laugh and cheer, scooping up the magical sweets and popping them into their mouths. The chaos subsided, replaced by a palpable sense of wonder and excitement. Holly turned to Jack, her green eyes reflecting the twinkling lights of the tree. "We did it," she breathed, a relieved smile playing on her lips. But her triumph was short-lived as she noticed a new disturbance brewing nearby. A group of carolers suddenly broke into a lively rendition of a song that was distinctly not Christmas-themed. Their voices rose, filling the air with the unmistakable melody of a traditional Kwanzaa hymn. Jack's brow furrowed as he listened. "That's not from around here," he murmured, his gaze sweeping over the crowd. He pointed to another part of the square where a cluster of people danced in a circle, their movements echoing the rhythm of a Diwali celebration. "And neither is that." Holly's eyes widened as she took in the scene. "It's happening again," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "The magic is still unstable." Brigadier Nutcracker appeared at their side, his wooden face carved into a stern expression. "This is beyond our expertise," he declared, his voice a deep rumble. "We need someone who understands the intricacies of holiday magic, someone who can help us make sense of this chaos." Holly nodded, her mind racing. "You're right," she said, turning to Jack. "We need to find someone who specializes in this kind of magic. Someone who can help us understand what's happening and how to control it." Jack's ice blue eyes met hers, a determined gleam in their depths. "I know who we need to talk to," he said, his voice steady and sure. "Ebenezer Scrooge IV. If anyone can help us make sense of this, it's him." Holly's expression brightened at the mention of the holiday fusion specialist. "Of course," she agreed, her voice filled with renewed hope. "If anyone can help us understand this magical melting pot, it's him." With a renewed sense of purpose, Holly and Jack set off, leaving the town square behind as they embarked on their quest to find Ebenezer Scrooge IV. The sounds of the blended celebrations faded into the background, a reminder of the task that lay ahead. Their journey was far from over, but with each step, they drew closer to unraveling the mystery that threatened to consume Merry Hollow. Holly and Jack wasted no time preparing for their journey to Ebenezer Scrooge IV's manor. They packed a small satchel with essentials, including a thermos of peppermint hot chocolate and a few of Holly's emergency sugar cookies, infused with a calming charm. Leaving the town in capable hands, they convened a hurried meeting with the newly formed council, comprising representatives from various holiday traditions. "We need to ensure the town remains stable while we're gone," Holly said, her gaze sweeping over the assembled members. "Trust in each other, and remember, unity is our strength. The magic of Merry Hollow depends on our collective spirit." The council members nodded solemnly, their expressions a mix of determination and apprehension. Jack stepped forward, his voice steady and reassuring. "We'll return as soon as we have answers. Until then, keep the lines of communication open and maintain the harmony we've started to build. The town's resilience lies in its people, in all of you." With the town's affairs in order, Holly and Jack set off, their path leading them through the enchanted forest that bordered Merry Hollow. The trees, laden with snow, glistened under the soft glow of holiday lights that seemed to follow them, as if the very essence of the town accompanied them on their journey. The air was filled with the scent of pine and the distant echo of carols, a reminder of the magic they were fighting to protect. As they walked, their breaths misting in the crisp air, Holly voiced her growing concerns. "What if Scrooge can't help us? What if the magic is too unstable to control? This is unlike anything we've faced before, Jack." Jack glanced at her, his ice blue eyes reflecting the surrounding lights. "Then we'll find another way, Holly. We've faced challenges before, and we've always found a solution. This time is no different. Our strength lies in our ability to adapt and overcome." Holly nodded, drawing comfort from his words. "You're right. We've come this far together. We can face whatever comes next. Merry Hollow is our home, and we'll do whatever it takes to protect it." The forest thinned, revealing the sprawling estate of Ebenezer Scrooge IV. The grand manor loomed before them, its towering spires and Gothic architecture a stark contrast to the quaint charm of Merry Hollow. The house seemed to absorb the light, casting an eerie shadow over the landscape. The silence that hung over the estate was almost palpable, a stark contrast to the festive atmosphere they had left behind. Holly's steps faltered, her eyes widening as she took in the imposing structure. "It's not quite what I expected. It's so different from anything in Merry Hollow." Jack placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "Remember, appearances can be deceiving. Scrooge might be our best hope for understanding what's happening. We need to keep an open mind and trust in our abilities to navigate whatever lies ahead." As they stood before the imposing doors of Scrooge's manor, Holly and Jack steeled themselves for the revelations that awaited inside. The heavy knocker, shaped like a wreath of holly, echoed through the still air as they announced their arrival, the sound a portent of the knowledge they sought and the challenges they were prepared to face. Chapter 6, Scrooge's Insight. The heavy oak door creaked open, revealing a dimly lit foyer adorned with an eclectic mix of holiday decorations. Ebenezer Scrooge stood in the doorway, his eyes twinkling with a blend of curiosity and warmth. He was a tall, thin man with a shock of white hair and a beard that seemed to dance with the same energy that filled his gaze. "Welcome, welcome," he said, ushering Holly and Jack inside. "I've been expecting you." The magic of Merry Hollow has a way of drawing attention, doesn't it? Holly glanced at Jack, her eyebrows raised in surprise. "You knew we were coming?" Scrooge chuckled, a sound that echoed through the grand entrance. "My dear, when the magic of multiple holidays starts to converge, it's hard not to notice. I've made it my life's work to study these phenomena. Please, come in." They followed Scrooge through a labyrinth of corridors, each lined with shelves overflowing with books, artifacts, and strange devices that seemed to hum with magical energy. The air was thick with the scent of old parchment and a hint of peppermint, a combination that was both comforting and slightly disorienting. Scrooge led them to a cozy study, where a fire crackled in the hearth, casting dancing shadows on the walls. He gestured for them to sit in the plush armchairs arranged around a low table, which was covered in maps, diagrams, and stacks of notes. "Now," Scrooge began, his voice taking on a professorial tone, "let's discuss what's happening in Merry Hollow. You've stumbled upon what I call a holiday nexus, a point where the magical energies of various festivities intersect. It's a rare and powerful occurrence, and it can be quite unpredictable." Holly leaned forward, her eyes scanning the documents on the table. "We found something called the Yule Lodestone. It seems to be attracting all these different magics." Scrooge nodded, his expression serious. "Ah, the Yule Lodestone. A fascinating artifact with a long history. It has the ability to draw in and amplify holiday magic, but it requires careful control. Left unchecked, it can cause chaos, as you've seen." Jack frowned, his fingers tracing the edge of one of the maps. "How do we stabilize it? We can't let Merry Hollow be overrun by uncontrolled magic." Scrooge steepled his fingers, his gaze thoughtful. "The key lies in understanding the nature of each holiday's magic and finding a way to harmonize them. It's a delicate balance, but it can be done. I've seen it before, in other nexus points around the world." Holly's eyes widened with hope. "You've done this before? You can help us?" Scrooge smiled, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Indeed, I can. But it won't be easy. We'll need to delve into the heart of each holiday's magic, understand its essence, and find a way to weave them together. It's a task that requires both knowledge and intuition." Jack looked at Holly, a determined gleam in his eyes. "We're ready to do whatever it takes. Merry Hollow is our home, and we won't let it be destroyed by this magical chaos." Scrooge nodded, his expression serious. "Then let's begin. We have much to learn and little time to waste." Scrooge leaned back in his chair, his fingers steepled as he delved into the history of the Yule Lodestone, his voice taking on a lecturing tone. "The Lodestone's power is immense, but it's a double-edged sword. It can bring unity and harmony, blending the magic of different holidays into a beautiful tapestry, a symphony of traditions that coexist peacefully. But left unchecked, it can cause chaos, with traditions clashing like discordant notes, magic running wild and uncontrolled." Holly's eyes widened, her fingers tightening around the armrest, knuckles turning white. "That's exactly what's happening in Merry Hollow. We need to stabilize it, but how? Our town can't withstand this magical turmoil for much longer." Scrooge nodded, his expression grave, lines on his forehead deepening. "The Kringle clan, your ancestors, Holly, were once the guardians of the Lodestone. They used it to maintain the balance of holiday magic, ensuring no single tradition overpowered the others. They were conductors of a magical orchestra, so to speak. But over time, their knowledge was lost, and the lodestone was forgotten, left to gather dust in the annals of history. Jack leaned forward, his ice blue eyes intense, a spark of curiosity igniting within them. The Kringles? Holly never mentioned they had such a history with the lodestone. This is a side of her lineage I never knew existed. Holly shook her head, her curls bouncing, a look of surprise and confusion on her face. I had no idea. My family's past is shrouded in mystery. We knew we had a role in maintaining Mary Hollow's magic, but this is something else entirely. Scrooge stood, walking over to a tall cabinet filled with peculiar artifacts, each one humming with its own unique magical energy. He retrieved a small, intricately carved box made of dark, polished wood and returned to his seat. This is a Kringle artifact, a lodestone stabilizer. It was crafted to control the lodestone's power, to harmonize the magics it attracts, like tuning forks bringing dissonant notes into harmony. He opened the box with careful, reverent hands, revealing a delicate pendant shaped like a snowflake, its edges glowing softly with a pulsating light. Holly gasped, reaching out to touch it before pulling her hand back, as if afraid it might burn or shock her with its raw power. It's beautiful, she whispered, her voice filled with awe and a hint of trepidation. Scrooge smiled, lifting the pendant from its box, the glow reflecting in his wise old eyes. And powerful. This will help you control the lodestone, but it's only a tool. The real power lies in understanding and respecting the magic of each holiday. You must learn to weave them together, to create a new tradition that honors them all, a tapestry that tells the story of unity and harmony. Jack took the pendant from Scrooge, examining it closely, the glow reflecting in his ice blue eyes. We'll do whatever it takes. Mary Hollow is our home, and we won't let it be torn apart by uncontrolled magic. We'll bring order to this chaos and ensure our town's future is secure. Holly nodded, determination burning in her green eyes, her jaw set with resolve. We'll need to talk to the Kringles, learn more about our history with the lodestone. And we'll need your help, Scrooge. Will you come to Mary Hollow with us? Your knowledge and guidance could make all the difference. Scrooge's eyes twinkled, a small smile playing on his lips, his beard dancing with the same energy that filled his gaze. I thought you'd never ask. I've been waiting for an adventure like this, a chance to put my knowledge to good use. Let's bring balance back to Mary Hollow and create a future where all holidays can coexist in harmony. The grand doors of Scrooge's manor burst open, revealing a troop of stern-faced figures clad in red and green. The Kringle clan had arrived, their eyes scanning the room with a mix of hostility and suspicion. At their helm stood a formidable woman, her resemblance to Holly striking despite the harsh lines etched into her face. Aunt Kringle, Holly acknowledged, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the air. We've been expecting you. Aunt Kringle's gaze flicked from Holly to Jack, her lips pursing as she took in his shimmering blue coat. So, this is the outsider who thinks he can meddle in our family affairs? Jack stepped forward, his ice blue eyes meeting hers without flinching. I'm Jack Frost. And I'm here to help, not meddle. A murmur rippled through the Kringle clan, their whispers filled with doubt and distrust. Holly raised a hand, silencing them. We need to work together. The Yule Lodestone is causing chaos in Mary Hollow, and we can't control it alone. Aunt Kringle scoffed, her arms crossing over her chest. And why should we trust you? Our knowledge of the lodestone has been kept secret for generations. What makes you think we'll share it with you now? Holly's green eyes flashed with determination. Because Mary Hollow is at stake. And because I'm a Kringle too. I deserve to know the truth about our family's past and how to control the lodestone. Scrooge, who had been watching the exchange with keen interest, stepped forward. Indeed, the situation is dire. The lodestone's power is growing, and without your help, Mary Hollow could be torn apart by the magical chaos. The Kringles exchanged glances, their expressions softening slightly. Aunt Kringle turned back to Holly, her gaze searching. You truly believe you can stabilize the lodestone? Holly nodded, her conviction unwavering. With your help, yes. We need to understand its history, its power. And we need to do it together. Jack added, his voice firm, the magic of Merry Hollow is unique, a blend of traditions that can coexist if we find the right balance. But we can't do it without the Kringles' knowledge. Aunt Kringle looked at her clan, their faces reflecting a mix of concern and resolve. She turned back to Holly and Jack, her expression serious. Very well. We'll join forces. But know this, if you betray our trust, the consequences will be severe. Holly exhaled, a sense of relief washing over her. We won't let you down. Together, we'll save Merry Hollow. As the heavy doors of Scrooge's manor closed behind them, Holly and Jack exchanged a glance, their breaths visible in the crisp night air. The moon hung low in the sky, casting a silvery glow over the landscape, illuminating the path ahead. The Kringles, despite their initial resistance, had agreed to share their knowledge, forming a fragile alliance that hinged on trust and a common goal. Holly clutched the lodestone stabilizer, the delicate snowflake pendant gleaming in the moonlight. We have our work cut out for us, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. But with the Kringles on our side, we stand a chance. Jack nodded, his ice-blue eyes reflecting the lunar glow. We need to act fast. The magic in Merry Hollow is unstable, and it's only a matter of time before things spiral out of control. They walked in silence for a moment, the crunch of snow under their boots the only sound breaking the stillness. Holly's mind raced, piecing together the fragments of their plan. We'll need to gather everyone, the town council, the winter spirits, even the new magical beings. If we're going to stabilize the lodestone, we need everyone's cooperation. Jack's brow furrowed, his gaze fixed on the horizon. And we need to understand the magic of each holiday. Scrooge mentioned a balance, a harmony. We'll have to find a way to weave them together without one overpowering the others. Holly stopped, turning to face Jack. We can do this, Jack. We've faced impossible odds before and come out stronger. This is our town, our home. We won't let it fall into chaos. Jack reached out, his hand brushing against Holly's cheek, a soft smile playing on his lips. Together, we can face anything. Let's rally the town, gather our allies, and bring order to this magical chaos. With renewed determination, they quickened their pace, the moonlight guiding their path. The lodestone stabilizer pulsed gently in Holly's hand, a symbol of the fragile alliance they had forged and the hope they carried for Merry Hollow's future. Chapter 7, Stabilizing Hotspots. The team huddled around a map of Merry Hollow, marking the major magical hotspots that had flared up overnight. Holly's fingers traced the parchment, her brow furrowed in concentration. We need to split up to cover more ground. There's too much happening for us to tackle it all together. Jack nodded, his gaze scanning the map, taking in the various points of interest. Agreed. We'll take the town square. It's the heart of Merry Hollow and likely the epicenter of this magical chaos. He turned to the others, assigning tasks with a confident air. Brigadier Nutcracker, you lead a team to the Candy Cane Forest. There are reports of unusual activity among the trees. Aunt Kringle, your group should head to the gingerbread houses. The structures seem to be evolving. The groups assembled swiftly, equipping themselves with an array of charms and artifacts provided by Scrooge and the Kringles. Each item hummed with a unique magic, ready to counteract the strange phenomena. Holly and Jack exchanged a determined look, a silent understanding passing between them before they set off towards the town square. As they approached, the air hummed with an unfamiliar magic, a discordant melody that set their senses on edge. The usually serene square was a whirlwind of activity, filled with figures dancing in vibrant costumes, their faces painted like intricate skulls. A Dia de los Muertos celebration had taken root, the scent of marigolds filling the air, and ofrendas, altars adorned with photographs, candles, and offerings, lining the paths. Holly stepped forward, her voice steady and clear. "We mean no harm. We're here to understand and help." She gestured to the celebrations, her expression one of respect and curiosity. "This is beautiful, but it's not meant for Mary Hollow. We need to find out why it's happening." A tall skeleton figure turned to face them, its eyes glowing within empty sockets. "We are not mere decorations to be dismissed," it said, its voice echoing like a hollow wind. "We celebrate the memories of our ancestors, a tradition as old as time itself." Jack moved beside Holly, his hands raised in a peaceful gesture. "We respect your traditions. But your magic is clashing with ours, causing disruptions. We need to find a balance, a way for both to coexist without chaos." The skeleton figure tilted its head, considering their words. "And what do you propose?" Holly reached into her pouch, pulling out a handful of sugar. She whispered a spell under her breath, and the granules shimmered, transforming into intricate sugar skulls, each one a tiny work of art. She offered them to the figure, her hand steady. "A symbol of our respect and understanding. Please, let us work together to find a solution." The figure accepted the skulls, examining them closely with its glowing eyes. Around them, the dancing slowed, the atmosphere shifting from chaotic to curious. The other figures turned to watch, their painted faces impassive but their eyes filled with interest. Jack seized the opportunity, his voice filled with conviction. "We need your cooperation. Help us stabilize the magic here, and we'll ensure your traditions are honored in Mary Hollow. We can find a way to celebrate our differences without destroying what makes each of us unique." The skeleton figure nodded, its glow softening, the harsh light in its eyes fading to a gentle warmth. "Very well. We will cooperate. Let us find a harmony between our magics." With the spirit's agreement, Holly and Jack set to work. Holly's sugar magic wove through the air like a delicate tapestry, calming the wild bursts of energy, smoothing out the rough edges of the conflicting magics. Jack's ice magic followed, creating a lattice of frost that stabilized the foreign magic, blending it with Mary Hollow's own until the two were intertwined, a seamless whole. Slowly, the chaos subsided, the dancing figures fading into a gentle glow that settled over the town square like a comforting blanket. The first hotspot was stabilized, a testament to the power of understanding, cooperation, and the strength that came from embracing diversity. The path forward was clear, unity was the key to saving Mary Hollow. The team split up, each group heading to their assigned hotspots. Holly and Jack, invigorated by their success in the town square, made their way to the outskirts of Mary Hollow, where a vibrant holy celebration had sprung to life. The air was thick with colored powders, and laughter echoed as townsfolk chased each other, leaving trails of vivid hues in their wake. Holly stepped into the fray, her eyes sparkling with curiosity. "This is incredible," she murmured, watching as a group of children tossed handfuls of powder into the air, creating a rainbow cloud. Jack, however, was more cautious. "It's beautiful, but we need to ensure it doesn't overwhelm Mary Hollow's magic." He reached out, catching a pinch of the powder between his fingers. It shimmered, reacting to his ice magic, and he frowned. "This is potent. We need to integrate it carefully." They found the epicenter of the celebration, a towering bonfire surrounded by drums and dancers. Holly approached a woman leading the festivities, her sari swirling with the rhythm of her movements. "We mean no disruption," Holly said, raising her voice over the music. "But we need to understand how this started and how we can blend it with our magic." The woman smiled, her eyes reflecting the firelight. "Holi is about unity, about the triumph of good over evil. Your town is filled with love and joy, it resonated with our spirit." She gestured to the celebrations. "This is a manifestation of that resonance." Jack nodded, understanding. We want to keep that spirit alive, but we need to harmonize it with our own magic. Can you help us? The woman agreed, and together, they worked to weave the holy magic into Mary Hollow's existing enchantments. Holly's sugar magic danced with the colored powders, creating intricate patterns that glowed with a soft light. Jack's ice magic followed, cooling the intense heat of the bonfire, merging it with the chill of winter. Slowly, the chaotic celebration morphed into a harmonious blend of holy and Christmas. The colored powders settled onto the snow, creating a vibrant tapestry that shimmered under the town's lights. The townsfolk, initially wary, began to join in, laughing and playing, their faces painted with joy and acceptance. Meanwhile, Brigadier Nutcracker's team faced a different challenge in the candy cane forest. The usually static trees had come to life, their stripes pulsing with an eerie glow. The soldiers moved cautiously, their wooden limbs creaking as they navigated the transformed landscape. Brigadier Nutcracker approached a particularly lively tree, its branches swaying despite the lack of wind. "We come in peace," he declared, his voice firm. "We seek to understand and assist." The tree bent down, its leaves rustling softly. "We are the spirits of the solstice," it whispered. "We bring light to the darkest nights." The brigadier nodded, his painted eyes thoughtful. "We honor your light. Let us find a way to blend it with our own magic." Together, they worked to stabilize the solstice magic, the soldiers using their innate connection to the town to guide the process. The pulsing glow of the trees softened, merging with the gentle twinkle of Christmas lights. The forest became a sanctuary of warmth and light, a testament to the harmony of diverse magics. Back in town, the residents began to see the benefits of the harmonized magic. The air buzzed with a newfound energy, a blend of joy, unity, and acceptance. The town's enchantments, once solely focused on Christmas, now hummed with the rhythm of a global symphony, each note a celebration of a different tradition. The transformation was subtle but profound. Carolers sang with renewed vigor, their voices blending with the distant echo of holy drums. The scent of gingerbread mingled with the sweet aroma of solstice herbs, creating a unique fragrance that filled the air with warmth and comfort. As Holly and Jack moved on to the next hotspot, they couldn't help but feel a sense of pride and accomplishment. Their town was changing, evolving into something more beautiful and diverse than they could have ever imagined. And with each step, they grew more determined to see this transformation through, to ensure that Mary Hollow became a beacon of unity and harmony for all magical kinds. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Mary Hollow transformed into a luminous spectacle. The once purely Christmas-themed lights now danced with the vibrant hues of Diwali lanterns and the warm glow of Hanukkah menorahs. The air hummed with a symphony of carols, chants, and joyous laughter, a testament to the harmonious blending of traditions. Holly and Jack walked hand in hand through the town square, their faces reflecting the multicolored lights. The atmosphere was electric, charged with a newfound energy that sparked hope and unity. Yet, beneath the surface, they both knew the true test was yet to come. "The towns never looked more beautiful," Holly remarked, her breath visible in the chilly air. "But we can't ignore what's happening underneath all this." Jack squeezed her hand, his ice blue eyes scanning the crowd. "Agreed. This harmony is fragile. We need to address the root cause before it shatters." As they approached the town hall, the murmur of voices grew louder. Inside, the council meeting was already in full swing. Representatives from each of the manifested holidays sat around a large table, their expressions a mix of curiosity, concern, and determination. Brigadier Nutcracker stood at the head of the table, his wooden frame stiff with authority. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, "Holly and Jack have returned. Let's hear their report." All eyes turned to the couple as they took their seats. Holly cleared her throat, her voice steady and clear. "We've managed to stabilize most of the hotspots. The different magics are coexisting, for now. But the Yule Lodestone is still pulsing with energy. We need a permanent solution. Jack leaned forward, his hands clasped on the table. We believe the lodestone is reacting to the ley lines beneath Mary Hollow. If we can tap into those lines, we might be able to control the influx of magic. A representative from the Dia de los Muertos celebration, a woman with vibrant face paint and a crown of marigolds, spoke up. And what of our traditions? We cannot simply be absorbed into your Christmas magic. We have our own stories, our own spirits to honor. Holly nodded, her expression thoughtful. We understand that. That's why we propose a rotation. Each tradition gets a chance to shine, to share its magic with the town. Mary Hollow can become a hub for all holiday spirits, not just Christmas. The room buzzed with whispered conversations. The idea was radical, a departure from the town's centuries-old tradition. But it was also a beacon of hope, a promise of unity and acceptance. Jack turned to the Kringle clan representative, a stern-faced man with a beard as white as fresh snow. We need your help. The Kringles have always been the guardians of Christmas magic. Now, we ask you to become the guardians of all holiday magic. The room fell silent, the weight of Jack's words hanging in the air. The Kringle representative stroked his beard, his eyes narrowing as he considered the proposal. The future of Mary Hollow rested on his response, on the council's ability to set aside their differences and work together. Holly held her breath, her heart pounding in her chest. This was the moment of truth, the turning point that would decide the fate of their beloved town. As the seconds ticked by, the tension in the room grew palpable, a tangible force that bound them all together. The biggest challenge lay ahead, and they would face it united, or not at all. Chapter 8, Confronting the Lodestar. Holly and Jack stepped into the heart of the Yule Lodestone's chamber, their footsteps echoing in the crystalline silence, the air thick with the weight of ancient magic pulsating like a heartbeat. At the center stood the Yule Lodestar, a sentient manifestation of the lodestone, radiating a kaleidoscope of colors that danced and shimmered, casting ethereal patterns on the walls. Welcome, Holly Evergreen and Jack Frost, the lodestar intoned, its voice resonating like distant thunder, filling the chamber with a sense of awe and reverence. The air hummed with an ancient power, resonating with the heartbeat of magic that seemed to pulse from the very walls. You seek to control the chaos, but first, you must answer my riddle. Holly and Jack exchanged a glance, their determination unwavering, their bond evident in the shared resolve of their eyes. Holly's fingers brushed against Jack's, a silent reassurance that they were in this together. We're ready, Holly said, her voice steady and clear, echoing softly in the cavernous space. The lodestar pulsed, casting a rainbow of lights across the chamber, each color seeming to hold a different shade of magic and mystery. The lights danced around them, reflecting off the crystalline surfaces, creating an ethereal spectacle that seemed to hint at the depth of the lodestar's power. I am always old, yet always new. What am I? Jack's brows furrowed, his analytical mind already dissecting the riddle, breaking it down into components to be analyzed and solved. His ice blue eyes narrowed in concentration, a familiar look that Holly had come to know and love. Meanwhile, Holly let her intuition guide her. She closed her eyes, letting the words wash over her, seeking the answer in the depths of her instincts and empathy. It's something that renews itself, she murmured, her voice barely above a whisper, yet carrying the weight of her conviction. Jack snapped his fingers, the sound sharp and decisive in the silent chamber. The moon. It's always old, waning, but always new, waxing. His voice held a note of triumph, a testament to his logical thinking and strategic mind. The lodestar's lights flickered in acknowledgement, a subtle nod to their correct answer. The chamber seemed to breathe a sigh of approval, the ancient magic acknowledging their wisdom. Correct. But there is more. I am always old, yet always new. I am never here, yet always there. What am I? Holly's eyes widened, the realization dawning on her like the first light of morning. Her heart pounded in her chest, a rhythm that matched the pulsating magic of the chamber. Time. It's always old, passing, but always new, coming. It's never here, in the present, but always there, in the past and future. Her voice held a note of wonder, a reflection of the profound truth she had uncovered. The chamber trembled, the very air seeming to respond to their words, acknowledging the truth they had uncovered. A hidden seam appeared on the lodestone, a crack that widened as if the stone itself was breathing, revealing a hidden chamber within. The air inside shimmered with untapped magic, waiting to be harnessed, a well of power that held the key to Mary Hollow's future. Holly and Jack stepped forward, their hearts pounding in sync, a shared rhythm that echoed their united purpose and the fate of their beloved town. The weight of their responsibility was palpable, but so was their resolve, a testament to their growth and the strength of their bond. The lodestar pulsed, its lights dimming and brightening like a celestial heartbeat, casting a kaleidoscope of colors across the chamber walls. The air hummed with an ancient energy, vibrating with a power that felt both primal and profoundly wise. "Why does Mary Hollow exist?" it asked, its voice echoing through the chamber, resonating deep within Holly and Jack, stirring something fundamental and timeless within them. Holly's eyes glazed over as a vivid, almost tangible vision unfolded before her. She saw Mary Hollow, not as it was, but as it could be. Children from different traditions played together, their laughter a melodious symphony that echoed through the streets, a harmony that transcended language and culture. A group of children clad in vibrant kimonos danced around a beautifully decorated katamatsu, while others gathered around a luminous kinara, their faces aglow with joy and wonder. Holiday decorations from various corners of the world adorned the houses, creating a vibrant tapestry of global festivities that shimmered in the soft, ethereal glow of the lodestone. Lanterns of every shape and size cast warm, inviting lights, while strings of colorful flags fluttered gently in the breeze, each one representing a unique heritage. The town square hosted a grand celebration, where residents shared stories, food, and magic from their unique heritages. A large communal table groaned under the weight of delicacies from every corner of the globe, steaming lax piled high next to plates of tamales, while trays of jollof rice and jerk chicken vied for space with dishes of stollen and panettone. The air was filled with the aroma of exotic spices and delectable sweets, and the sound of music from every corner of the world, a symphony that seemed to dance on the very breeze. A group of carolers sang in perfect harmony with a nearby klezmer band, while the rhythmic beat of gem drums provided a lively counterpoint. The vision was a testament to harmony within chaos, a beacon of unity that transcended time and space, a promise of a future where diversity was celebrated and cherished. "Holly?" Jack's voice broke through her reverie, grounding her in the present. She blinked, the vision fading, but the warmth and possibility lingered, a tangible promise of what could be. She turned to Jack, her eyes reflecting the awe and wonder that filled her. For a moment, they stood in silence, the weight of their shared destiny palpable between them. "I saw it," she whispered, her voice barely audible yet filled with conviction. Mary Hollow, not just as a Christmas town, but as a haven for all holiday magic. A place where Diwali lights shine beside Christmas trees, where the scent of Hanukkah lax mingles with the aroma of Eid al-Fitr sweets. A place where every tradition is celebrated, where everyone belongs, where the magic of unity brings joy and peace to all. Jack nodded solemnly, his ice blue eyes reflecting the lodestone's pulsating lights, a mirror to the profound emotions stirring within him. He took Holly's hand, his grip firm and reassuring, a silent pledge of his support. "But to achieve that," he said, his voice steady and resolute, "we need to stabilize the magic, create a framework where all these traditions can coexist without causing chaos. We need to find a way to harness this power, to guide it, to make it a force for good. We must ensure that the magic of Mary Hollow enhances every tradition it touches, rather than overwhelming them." The lodestar hummed, its sound resonating through the chamber, acknowledging their words, their resolve. The ancient entity seemed to approve, its voice echoing like a symphony of ancient wisdom and untapped power. "Indeed," it said, "but first, you must pass the final test. Unite your magics, create something new, something that represents the future of Mary Hollow. Show me the strength of your bond, the power of your unity." Prove that you are the guardians this town needs, the stewards who will guide it into a new era of harmony and light. Holly and Jack exchanged a glance, understanding passing between them without words, a silent pact forged in the fires of shared trials and triumphs. They turned to face the lodestar, their shoulders squared, their chins lifted in determination. Holly raised her hands, her sugar magic swirling like a sweet, sparkling mist, a dance of tiny, glistening particles that filled the air with a sense of warmth and comfort. It was a magic born of hearth and home, of love and nurturing, a power that welcomed and embraced all who encountered it. Jack mirrored her, his ice magic shimmering in the air, cold and crisp, a stark contrast that somehow complemented her magic perfectly. His power was one of preservation and protection, a force that maintained the delicate balance of nature, that sheltered and defended those in need. Their magics met, clashing briefly before intertwining, dancing together like lovers in a winter waltz, a ballet of power and grace. The chamber seemed to hold its breath, the very air alive with anticipation and potential. The air between them crackled with energy, a shape forming from the fusion of their powers. It was a snowflake, intricate and unique, but instead of ice, it was crafted from shimmering sugar crystals that caught the light, casting a spectrum of colors across the chamber. Each branch of the snowflake was adorned with tiny, glowing symbols, each one representing a different holiday, a different tradition. It hung in the air, glinting like a promise, a symbol of their united strength and the future of Merry Hollow, a testament to the power of unity and love. A beacon of hope, shining brightly in the heart of the chamber, a harbinger of the harmony that was to come. The lodestar's light steadied, a soft glow emanating from it, bathing Holly and Jack in its warm approval, a benediction from an ancient force. "You have passed," it said, its voice gentle yet firm, a decree from the very heart of magic itself. "Go forth, and let Merry Hollow shine as a beacon of unity and harmony, a sanctuary for all holiday magic, a town where every tradition is celebrated, and every resident is cherished. Let it be a place where the magic of every culture is honored, where the spirit of every holiday is nurtured, and where the light of understanding and acceptance shines brightly, now and forevermore." As they left the chamber, Holly and Jack felt a profound connection, their bond strengthened by the trials they had faced and the vision they now shared. Their mission was clear, to transform Merry Hollow into a sanctuary for all holiday magic, a town where every tradition was celebrated, and every resident was valued, a place where the magic of unity brought joy, peace, and love to all. The weight of their responsibility was heavy, but so was their resolve, a testament to their growth and the strength of their bond. Chapter 9, Grand Ritual Planning. Holly and Jack stood before the assembled town leaders, their faces aglow with determination and a shared vision. The room buzzed with a mix of curiosity and apprehension, the air thick with the scent of pine and peppermint from the festive decorations adorning the town hall. "Friends," Holly began, her voice steady and clear, "Jack and I have seen the future of Merry Hollow. A future where every street is a tapestry of global traditions, where every home is a sanctuary of diverse magic, where every heart beats with the rhythm of unity." Jack stepped forward, his ice blue eyes scanning the crowd. "But to achieve this, we need your help. The Yule Lodestone has shown us the path, and it's a path we must walk together." He outlined the steps for the grand ritual, each word painted with the vivid colors of their shared vision. "We need to create a web of magic, a tapestry woven from the threads of every tradition present in Merry Hollow. This will stabilize the Lodestone's power and harmonize the chaotic influx of holiday magics." Holly took over, her eyes gleaming with the same passion that fueled her sugar magic. "Each of you has a role to play. The winter spirits will call upon the ancient magic of the solstice, anchoring the ritual in the heart of winter." A murmur of agreement rippled through the winter spirits, their eyes glowing with a renewed sense of purpose. "The Kringle clan," Jack continued, "will harness the power of their ancestral magic, guiding the flow of energy through the town. Their deep connection to Christmas will be the backbone of our spell." The Kringles nodded, their faces etched with determination, ready to stand shoulder to shoulder with the rest of the town. Holly turned to the other factions, her voice filled with warmth and encouragement. The carnival spirits will infuse the ritual with the joy and vibrancy of their celebrations, while the harvest guardians will ground the magic in the earth, ensuring it remains connected to the natural cycle of the seasons. One by one, the town leaders accepted their roles, their faces a mirror of Holly and Jack's resolve. The room hummed with a sense of unity, a shared purpose that transcended individual traditions and personal fears. Holly and Jack huddled over a parchment, quills scratching as they drafted a list of required magical elements. The room hummed with a quiet intensity, the weight of their task etched into every line they penned. "We'll need mistletoe from the ancient grove," Holly murmured, her green eyes scanning the list. "And a cup of wassail brewed under the full moon." Jack nodded, his ice-blue eyes reflecting the candlelight. "Don't forget the Yule log from the heart of the enchanted forest. It's crucial for grounding the ritual." As they finalized the list, the townsfolk began to gather outside, their chatter a mix of determination and curiosity. Holly stepped out, her voice clear and steady as she addressed the crowd. "Friends, we need your help. Here is a list of items essential for the ritual. Each one is vital for stabilizing the Yule Lodestone's magic." The townsfolk nodded, their faces etched with resolve. They dispersed, each group tasked with gathering specific items, the air buzzing with a sense of purpose. Holly turned to Brigadier Nutcracker, who stood stoically nearby. "Brigadier, we need your guidance. Are there any additional preparations we should consider?" The Brigadier's wooden face remained stern, but his voice held a note of warmth. "The ritual must be precise, Ms. Evergreen. Ensure the movements are synchronized, the chants clear. The Lodestone's magic is powerful but fickle. One misstep could unravel the harmony we seek." Jack, meanwhile, had gathered a group of volunteers in the town square. His voice echoed as he demonstrated the intricate dance steps required for the ritual. "Step, turn, bow," he instructed, his movements fluid and precise. The townsfolk followed, their initial clumsiness giving way to a growing rhythm, a dance of unity and purpose. Days turned into weeks as preparations continued. The town hall became a hub of activity, filled with the scent of herbs and the hum of concentrated effort. Holly and Jack worked tirelessly, their bond strengthening with each task completed. Finally, with the list of items checked off and the townsfolk trained in the ritual movements, Holly and Jack set a date. "The grand ritual will take place on the winter solstice," Holly announced, her voice filled with a mix of excitement and trepidation. "Under the darkest night, we will light the way to a new future for Mary Hollow." The townsfolk cheered, their faces a mirror of Holly and Jack's determination. The date was set, the preparations complete. Now, all that remained was the ritual itself. Holly and Jack stood at the heart of Mary Hollow, clipboards in hand, eyes scanning the bustling town square. The usually peaceful space hummed with activity, residents crisscrossing with arms full of greenery, ribbons, and lanterns. The air was thick with the scent of pine and mulled cider, the atmosphere electric with anticipation. "Mrs. Claus," Holly called, ticking off a box on her list. "Have we gathered enough holly sprigs for the ritual circle?" Mrs. Claus, her rosy cheeks flushed with exertion, nodded. "Yes, dear. We've gathered them from the enchanted grove, just as you asked." Jack turned to the winter spirits, their forms shimmering like ice sculptures under the sun. "And the snow globes? Are they ready for the invocation?" A gust of cold wind answered, the spirits' voices echoing like distant whistles. "Ready, Jack Frost. The magic is strong within them." Holly's green eyes sparkled with gratitude. "Thank you, everyone. Remember, each detail is crucial. The Lodestone's magic is powerful but fickle." Across the square, the Kringle clan huddled together, their deep voices murmuring ancient chants. Beside them, the carnival spirits practiced their dance, ribbons of color trailing their movements. The harvest guardians, meanwhile, stood stoic, their hands buried in the earth, grounding the magic. Holly watched, her heart swelling with pride and hope. This was her town, her family. She turned to Jack, his ice blue eyes reflecting the same determination. They had come so far together, their bond strengthening with each challenge faced. "Holly," Jack said, his voice low. "We're almost there. The town is united, the preparations nearly complete." She nodded, her curly red hair bouncing with the movement. "I can feel it, Jack. The magic is building, the town spirit is stronger than ever." As the day of the ritual approached, Holly and Jack stood on the town square, watching their community unite with hope and determination. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows that danced with the flickering lanterns. The air buzzed with whispered chants and the rustle of greenery, the town's heartbeat steady and strong. This was Merry Hollow, their home, their fight. And they were ready. Chapter 10, Preparation Challenges. As the preparations for the grand ritual reached their final stages, unexpected issues began to surface. The magical elements, once stable, started to fluctuate wildly. Holly's sugar magic, usually so reliable, began to act erratically. She was in the town square, attempting to create a simple gingerbread house, when the dough suddenly began to expand and contort, forming grotesque shapes that crumbled into a sticky mess. The scent of ginger and molasses filled the air, but the usual warmth and comfort it brought was replaced by a sense of unease. "Holly, what's happening?" Mrs. Claus asked, her brows furrowed in concern as she watched the sugar magic go awry. The usual cheer in her voice was replaced with a worried tremor. Holly bit her lip, her green eyes filled with worry. "I don't know, Mrs. Claus. My magic has never behaved like this before." She could feel the magic pulsing through her, but it was as if it had a mind of its own, slipping out of her control like a wild horse. Jack, noticing the commotion from across the square, hurried over. His boots crunched in the snow, leaving a trail of shimmering ice in his wake. He placed a reassuring hand on Holly's shoulder, his touch cool and calming. "Take a deep breath, Holly. Let's figure this out together." She nodded, inhaling sharply. Jack's cool presence calmed her, allowing her to focus. He guided her through a grounding exercise, his voice steady and soothing. "Close your eyes, Holly. Picture the magic flowing through you, smooth and steady. You control it, not the other way around." Slowly, the sugar dough began to respond, forming a neat little gingerbread house with intricate icing details. "There you go," Jack said, his ice blue eyes reflecting pride. "You've got this. Whatever is happening, we'll face it together." Meanwhile, murmurs of doubt began to spread among the town factions like a chill wind. The harvest guardians, their forms flickering like autumn leaves, voiced their concerns. "This ritual, it's too risky," one of them said, her voice rustling like dry leaves. "We should stick to our traditions, not meddle with forces we don't understand." The carnival spirits, usually so jovial with their bright colors and festive music, nodded in agreement. "We've never dealt with something this powerful," their ringleader said, his normally cheerful voice laced with worry. "What if it backfires? What if we lose everything that makes Merry Hollow special?" Holly and Jack exchanged a glance, understanding that they needed to address these concerns head-on. They quickly organized a town meeting, gathering everyone in the town hall. The atmosphere was tense, the air thick with uncertainty. The usual chatter and laughter were replaced with whispered worries and nervous glances. Holly stood at the front, her voice steady and reassuring. She had changed into a festive sweater with a snowflake pattern, a subtle reminder of the town's unity. "Friends, we understand your fears. This is uncharted territory for all of us. But remember, Merry Hollow has always been about embracing change and diversity. We've faced challenges before, from the melted snowman incident to the Great Candy Cane crisis, and we've overcome them together." Jack stepped forward, his voice calm and logical. He had swapped his usual blue coat for a more formal jacket, a sign of his commitment to the town. The ritual is our best chance to stabilize the magic and protect our town. We've prepared extensively, consulting ancient texts and seeking advice from wise magical beings. We have the support of every magical faction, from the winter spirits to the sugarplum fairies. We can do this, but only if we stand united. Holly stood before the town, her voice echoing through the hall, painting a picture with her words. Imagine a merry hollow where every day isn't just Christmas, but a celebration of all holidays. A place where our magic is stronger, more vibrant, because it's not limited to one tradition, but draws from the well of many. A town where each day is a surprise, a delight, a new magic to explore. She held out her hand, palm up, and a small flame flickered to life. It shifted colors, from the green and red of Christmas to the orange and black of Halloween, then to the pastel hues of Easter, and the brilliant blues and whites of Hanukkah. Murmurs of awe rippled through the crowd as they watched the kaleidoscope of holidays dance in her palm. Jack stepped forward, his ice magic swirling around him like a frosty breeze. With harmonized magic, our town will be unstoppable. We'll have the strength of diverse traditions, the resilience of change. We won't be confined to the same songs, the same decorations. We'll embrace the beauty of all holidays, the richness of their magic. He clenched his fist, and the ice solidified into a gleaming, intricate snowflake, reflecting the multicolored lights of Holly's flame. It was a symbol of unity, a promise of the future they envisioned. The townsfolk exchanged glances, their initial skepticism melting away like snow under the warm spring sun. The harvest guardians nodded, their forms stabilizing, their eyes gleaming with newfound excitement as they embraced the idea. The carnival spirits grinned, their colors brightening, their laughter echoing through the hall. Even the winter spirits, with their icy demeanor, seemed to thaw slightly, their frosty gaze softening with curiosity. With the town's confidence restored and a newfound spark of hope ignited, Holly and Jack retreated to their cozy home. The walls were adorned with twinkling fairy lights and festive garlands, a testament to their love for the town and its holidays. They spread out the ritual plan on the kitchen table, their heads bent together as they refined each step. Holly's fingers traced the intricate symbols they'd need to draw, while Jack jotted down the precise timing for each incantation, their every movement synchronized, a dance of partnership and unity. The next day, they gathered the town for a rehearsal. In the town square, under the watchful gaze of the enchanted Christmas tree, residents took their positions, their faces alight with anticipation. Holly directed the sugarplum fairies to their marks, her voice filled with encouragement and warmth. Meanwhile, Jack coordinated the winter spirits, his commands clear and steady, his presence a beacon of calm and control. The air buzzed with anticipation and a sense of unity that Merry Hollow had never felt before, a tangible shift in the town's atmosphere. As Holly called out the first step, the town moved in sync. Ice and fire danced together, sugar magic wove through the air like a sweet symphony, and the scent of peppermint and gingerbread filled the square, a comforting aroma that promised warmth and joy. The winter spirit's frosty breath mingled with the warm glow of the sugarplum fairies, creating a mesmerizing mist that shimmered with all the colors of the holiday spectrum, a visual feast that left the townsfolk awestruck. The rehearsal flowed smoothly, each faction seamlessly blending their magic with the others, a testament to their newfound unity and cooperation. When the final incantation was spoken, a collective cheer erupted from the townsfolk. They looked around, their eyes wide with wonder at what they'd accomplished together, a sense of pride and community swelling in their hearts. As the rehearsal ended, Holly and Jack shared a hopeful glance. They saw the determination in each other's eyes, the reflection of the town's unity, the promise of a future where Merry Hollow thrived on diversity and change. They were ready. Ready for the real ritual, ready to usher Merry Hollow into a new era of magical harmony. Behind them, the town hummed, vibrant with exhilaration and optimism, more united than ever, prepared to confront whatever adventures awaited. Chapter 11: Overcoming Resistance. As the town buzzed with anticipation for the grand ritual, a pocket of resistance stirred in the quiet corner of Merry Hollow. The Traditionalist Society, led by the stern Mrs. Clausen and the stoic Mr. Colt, saw the ritual as a threat to their beloved Christmas traditions. They gathered in the dimly lit back room of the gingerbread house, the air thick with murmurs of dissent that seemed to cling to the walls like the remnants of stale gingerbread. The room was a tableau of discontent, each face etched with lines of worry and resistance, the scent of peppermint tea and old parchment filling the air. The weight of their concerns was almost tangible, a heavy cloak draped over the assembled group. Holly and Jack entered the room, their faces etched with determination, their steps echoing the resolve that burned in their eyes. The flickering candlelight cast dramatic shadows, painting their expressions with a mix of light and dark, much like the mood that hung heavy in the air. The wooden floor creaked beneath their feet, announcing their arrival with a somber rhythm. Mrs. Clausen, her lips pursed tightly enough to rival a sealed envelope, stood with her arms crossed, her stern gaze fixed on the duo. Her eyes, sharp and unyielding, were a clear warning of the battle ahead. She wore a dress adorned with traditional Christmas emblems, a visual testament to her commitment to the old ways. Mr. Colt, his expression as frosty as his name, mirrored her stance, his eyes narrowing slightly as he regarded them. His suit, tailored to perfection, seemed to emphasize the rigidness of his demeanor. The tension was palpable, the murmurs of dissent from the gathered traditionalists humming like an unsettled hive ready to swarm. "We won't stand for it," Mrs. Clausen declared, her voice sharp as a cracked candy cane, slicing through the murmurs. "This ritual of yours will dilute our precious Christmas magic. It's unacceptable." She punctuated her words with a firm nod, her silver hair catching the light, reflecting her unwavering resolve. A few nods and murmurs of agreement rippled through the room, echoing her sentiment like a chorus of disapproval. The room seemed to close in around them, the walls echoing with the whispers of the past and the fears of the future. Jack stepped forward, his ice blue eyes steady and calm, a beacon of reason amidst the storm of discontent. "Change isn't dilution, Mrs. Clausen. It's evolution," he said, his voice firm yet respectful, carrying the weight of his conviction. "Mary Hollow can't stay stagnant forever. Traditions can grow and adapt, becoming even more vibrant and meaningful." His words hung in the air, a challenge to the status quo, a promise of a brighter future. Mrs. Clausen scoffed, her arms tightening across her chest like a barrier against his words. "And what do you know about our town, Jack Frost? You're an outsider. You don't understand our history, our values." More murmurs, this time tinged with skepticism, filled the air, a chorus of doubt that threatened to drown out any hope of agreement. The room seemed to grow colder, the warmth of the candles barely enough to stave off the chill of their resistance. Holly placed a gentle hand on Jack's arm, her voice soft yet firm, a counterpoint to the harsh whispers. "Jack is as much a part of this town as any of us," she asserted, her green eyes scanning the room, meeting each gaze with unwavering resolve. "He's shown his dedication and his love for Mary Hollow. And he's right. Mary Hollow needs to grow, to adapt." She paused, her gaze sweeping over the gathered traditionalists, her expression thoughtful, drawing them in with her memories. The room seemed to hold its breath, waiting for her to continue. "When I was a little girl, I remember the Sugarplum Fairy Festival," she continued, her voice taking on a nostalgic tone, painting a picture of a simpler time. "It was magical, but it was always the same. Year after year, the same dances, the same songs. But one year, a piper from Hamelin visited. He brought new music, new dances. Some of us were scared, resistant. But when we joined in, when we blended our traditions with his, it was the most magical festival we'd ever had." Her voice was filled with the warmth of the memory, the joy of the experience shining in her eyes. Mr. Colt shifted, his frosty demeanor thawing slightly as he listened, the ice in his eyes beginning to melt under the warmth of her words. "But Holly," he interjected, his voice gruff, a rumble of concern, "this is Christmas we're talking about. Not some sugarplum dance. It's the heart of our town, our identity." His words were a plea, a reminder of the gravity of their decision, the weight of their responsibility. Jack nodded, understanding in his eyes, a silent acknowledgement of the gravity of their concerns. And Christmas will still be at the heart of Merry Hollow, he assured, his voice steady and soothing. But think about it, with the ritual, we'll have the strength of all holidays. Our decorations will be more vibrant, our feasts more bountiful. Imagine Christmas trees adorned with lanterns from the Mid-Autumn Festival, or stockings filled with treats from the cornucopia of harvest. Imagine the influx of tourists eager to experience our unique blend of magic. His words painted a vivid picture, a tapestry of traditions old and new, woven together by the threads of community and change. Mrs. Clausen's expression softened, her arms uncrossing as she considered their words, the walls of her resistance slowly crumbling. But our traditions, they'll be lost, she said, her voice tinged with worry, a final plea for the familiar. The room seemed to echo with the ghosts of Christmases past, the memories of traditions held dear. Holly shook her head, her voice filled with conviction, a promise of a brighter future. No, they'll be enhanced. We'll still have our carols and our gingerbread, but we'll also have new songs, new flavors. Our traditions will be richer, more diverse. Isn't that worth fighting for? Her words were a rallying cry, a call to action, a promise of a future where the old and the new could coexist in harmony. The room fell silent, the weight of Holly's words hanging in the air like the first snowfall, soft and heavy with promise. Mr. Colt looked at Mrs. Clausen, a silent conversation passing between them, a wordless agreement forged in the crucible of change. Finally, Mrs. Clausen sighed, her shoulders relaxing, the last vestiges of resistance melting away. "All right, Holly. Jack," she said, her voice steady, a beacon of acceptance. "We'll support the ritual. But we have conditions." Her words were a bridge, a path towards compromise, a way forward that respected the past while embracing the future. Holly and Jack exchanged a hopeful glance. They were listening. The path to compromise was open, a bridge between the old and the new, the familiar and the unknown. The room buzzed with a new energy, a mix of excitement and unity beginning to replace the earlier tension. The first steps towards a harmonious blend of old and new were being taken, and the future of Merry Hollow seemed brighter than ever, a tapestry of traditions old and new, woven together by the threads of community and change. With the factions now on board, Holly and Jack felt a renewed sense of optimism as they approached the day of the ritual. The town was ready, and so were they. The air was filled with the scent of pine and the promise of magic, the whispers of the past blending with the hopes of the future. The stage was set for a new chapter in the history of Merry Hollow, a chapter that would celebrate the strength of community and the power of change. Chapter 12, Small Harmonies. Holly and Jack crisscrossed Merry Hollow, their breaths misting in the crisp air, addressing each magical hotspot with renewed vigor. At the edge of town, where the first flurries of winter met the vibrant hues of holy, they raised their hands in unison. Holly's sugar magic swirled with Jack's ice, encapsulating the colorful powders, transforming them into gleaming, edible confetti that rained down on delighted children. The laughter of the young ones echoed, a symphony of joy that warmed the hearts of all present. The once separate magics of winter and spring danced together, creating a spectacle that brought residents out of their homes, their eyes wide with awe. Neighbors who had only exchanged polite greetings before now stood side by side, their faces alight with shared wonder. In the town square, they faced a spirited manifestation of the Chinese New Year. A golden dragon danced through the air, its scales shimmering with magic. Holly extended her hands, her magic weaving through the air like ribbons of candy. The dragon's fiery breath transformed into a cascade of sparkling sugar crystals, blending seamlessly with the Christmas lights. Jack stepped forward, his ice magic calming the dragon's fiery nature, grounding it in the cool serenity of winter. The dragon coiled around the enchanted Christmas tree, its presence a new layer of festivity that drew gasps of wonder from the growing crowd. The town square, once solely dedicated to Christmas, now hummed with the energy of a new celebration. Old traditions intertwined with new ones, creating a tapestry of festivity that was uniquely Merry Hollow. Each mini-ritual brought a burst of joy and unity to the town. Residents gathered, their faces alight with wonder as they witnessed the harmonization of diverse holiday magics. The air buzzed with excitement and a newfound sense of community. Holly and Jack moved from one hotspot to the next, their combined magic leaving a trail of harmonized festivity in their wake. With each step, they felt the town's spirit strengthening, the bonds between neighbors growing tighter. New friendships were forged in the shared experience, and long-standing feuds were set aside, forgotten in the face of the magical spectacle. The townspeople began to see the benefits firsthand. At the bakery, Mrs. Clausen's gingerbread men danced with the colorful mochi from the Japanese New Year celebration. Children giggled as they tried to catch the dancing treats, their laughter filling the air with a warmth that transcended the chill of winter. The bakery became a hub of activity, drawing in more people than ever before. Patrons who had previously stuck to their usual orders now sampled treats from different cultures, their eyes lighting up with delight at the new flavors. At the market, the scent of mulled wine mingled with the aroma of roasted chestnuts and the sweet fragrance of mooncakes, creating a symphony of scents that tantalized the senses. Shoppers lingered, their conversations filled with delight at the unexpected fusion of traditions. Stall owners exchanged recipes and stories, their faces glowing with the joy of shared experiences. Holly and Jack paused at the town hall, their breaths ragged from the day's exertions. Around them, the town buzzed with a new energy, a blend of excitement, unity, and hope. They looked at each other, a silent understanding passing between them. It was time to gather feedback from the community, to hear the voices of those who had witnessed the magic and felt the change. The town hall, once a place for formal meetings and occasional disagreements, now hummed with an atmosphere of anticipation and camaraderie. "Let's hear what they have to say," Holly murmured, her green eyes reflecting the twinkling lights of the town square. Jack nodded, his ice blue eyes scanning the crowd, taking in the smiles and the eager faces. The sight of their fellow residents, filled with newfound enthusiasm, was a testament to their efforts. The town hall was no longer just a building, it was a symbol of the town's unity and hope for the future. They stepped into the town hall, the murmur of voices enveloping them. The room was filled with residents, each one eager to share their experiences, their hopes, and their dreams for the future of Merry Hollow. Holly and Jack moved through the crowd, listening intently, their hearts swelling with pride and determination. The townspeople, once reserved in their interactions, now reached out to them, their eyes shining with gratitude and newfound trust. Each story they heard, each smile they saw, fueled their resolve to see this through, to ensure that Merry Hollow not only survived but thrived in its newfound diversity. Holly and Jack huddled over the sprawling parchment map of Merry Hollow, their heads nearly touching. The map was a web of ink lines and magical symbols, marking the ley lines and hotspots they'd discovered. Holly's fingers traced a path, leaving a shimmering trail of sugar crystals that sparkled like tiny diamonds. The map, once a static representation of the town, now pulsed with the energy of their combined magic, a living testament to their efforts. "We need to adjust the ritual's focus," she said, tapping a key intersection. "If we concentrate our efforts here, we can stabilize the ley lines more effectively." Her voice held a newfound confidence, a reflection of the growth she had undergone. She was no longer just a bookshop owner, she was a leader, a guardian of Merry Hollow's magic. Jack nodded, his ice blue eyes reflecting the map's glow. "Agreed. And we should incorporate elements from each of the represented holidays. It'll show unity and strengthen the magic." His voice was steady, a pillar of support and strength. He had come a long way from the cautious outsider he once was, now fully invested in the town and its future. Holly smiled, her green eyes meeting his. "Exactly. Let's divide the tasks among the townsfolk based on their affinities." Their bond had grown stronger with each challenge they faced, their trust in each other unwavering. They were not just partners in solving the mystery, they were partners in life, their futures intertwined like the magics they wielded. As they finalized the adjustments, Holly's magic flared. Sugarplum fairies danced above the map, their wings leaving trails of stardust. The room filled with the scent of gingerbread and peppermint, a sweet testament to Holly's power. The display boosted morale, drawing gasps of awe from the townsfolk gathered nearby. The fairies, once shy and elusive, now danced freely, their joy a reflection of the town's spirit. Meanwhile, Jack turned his attention to the remaining skeptics. In a corner, Mr. Pinecone, the gruff owner of the local pine shop, stood with arms crossed. Jack approached him, his charm as warm as the ice magic swirling around his fingers. He had grown from a detached observer to a diplomat, his words carefully chosen to bridge the gap between tradition and change. "Mr. Pinecone," he began, "I understand your concerns. But think of it this way, Merry Hollow is like a snowflake. Unique, yes, but part of a larger winter wonderland. Embracing diversity won't diminish our charm. It'll enhance it." His voice was gentle yet persuasive, a reflection of the growth he had undergone. He was no longer just an outsider, he was a part of the town, his future intertwined with its fate. Mr. Pinecone harumphed, but his expression softened. "Well, when you put it that way." His voice trailed off, but the change in his demeanor was evident. He was no longer a skeptic, he was a convert, ready to embrace the change and be a part of the town's future. Jack clapped him on the back. "That's the spirit. Now, how about you lead the pine ritual? No one knows their magic better than you." His words were not just an encouragement, they were an acknowledgement of Mr. Pinecone's expertise, a recognition of his value to the town. With the last skeptics won over, the town gathered for a final rehearsal. The air buzzed with excitement and a touch of nervous energy. Holly stood at the town square, her voice ringing out clear and confident as she directed the proceedings. Jack moved among the crowd, offering encouragement and advice. Their roles had evolved, they were no longer just investigators, they were leaders, guiding the town through uncharted waters. The rehearsal was a symphony of magic. Christmas lights twinkled brighter as they intertwined with Diwali lanterns. Dreidels spun next to Kinaras, their lights merging in a dance of unity. The townsfolk moved in sync, their voices raised in a chorus of carols and chants from various traditions. The town square, once a symbol of Christmas, was now a testament to the town's unity and diversity. It was a sight to behold, a memory that would be etched in the hearts of all present, a promise of a brighter, more magical future. As the rehearsal ended, Holly and Jack stood side by side, watching the townsfolk disperse. The air was filled with laughter, chatter, and the sweet scent of magic. The excitement was palpable, a tangible force that wrapped around the town like a warm embrace. The day of the ritual was fast approaching, and Merry Hollow was ready to face its future, united and strong. Chapter 13, Rogue Spirits Sabotage. The quiet hum of preparation shattered as a gust of wind tore through the town square. Tinsel whipped through the air, and ornaments shattered against the cobblestones. Rogue holiday spirits, cloaked in shadows, darted between buildings, their laughter echoing like shards of ice. They toppled carefully arranged candles and scattered ritual herbs, threatening to unravel the town's meticulous preparations. The air crackled with a mix of mischief and malevolence as the spirits wreaked havoc, delighting in the chaos they created. Holly and Jack, drawn by the commotion, rushed into the square, their hearts pounding with a mix of dread and determination. Holly's eyes widened as she took in the chaos, her breath catching at the sight of the spirits' destructive antics. "They're sabotaging the ritual," she cried, her voice barely audible over the howling wind and the spirits' cackling laughter. Jack's gaze hardened, his ice magic crackling to life as he assessed the scene. "We need to stop them. Now." He turned to the gathered townsfolk, their faces pale with shock and fear. "Rally the others. Defend Merry Hollow." His voice boomed, a clarion call that snapped the townspeople out of their stupor and galvanized them into action. The townsfolk sprang into motion, their resolve strengthening as they grabbed whatever makeshift weapons they could find. Shopkeepers armed themselves with enchanted candy canes, their tips glowing with magical energy. Carolers sang battle hymns, their voices amplified by magic, the harmonious melodies weaving spells of protection and strength. Bakers tossed enchanted pastries that exploded into puffs of magical flour, temporarily blinding and disorienting the spirits. The air buzzed with a symphony of spells as the townsfolk fought back against the rogue spirits, their determination to protect their home palpable. A spirit dressed in tattered Mardi Gras finery lunged at Holly, its mask twisted in a grotesque grin, beads clattering as it moved. She dodged with a grace born of practice, her sugar magic flaring to life. A wall of candy canes erupted from the ground, blocking the spirit's path, the red and white stripes gleaming with magical energy. "Not on my watch," she muttered, her eyes flashing with determination as she reinforced the barrier with another wave of magic. Jack faced off against a spirit wielding a sparkling New Year's firework, its fuse crackling with anticipation. The spirit launched the firework, but Jack countered with a blast of ice, freezing it mid-air. "You're not the only ones with tricks," he growled, his ice magic pulsing with newfound strength as he advanced on the spirit, his eyes locked onto its glowing form. The battle raged on, the town square a whirlwind of magic and chaos. Holly darted between ritual components, her magic shoring up defenses and repairing the damage caused by the spirits. She reinforced the protective circle around the Yule Lodestone with a wall of gingerbread bricks, their sweet scent filling the air as they hardened into an impenetrable barrier. Then, she turned her attention to the disrupted herbs, her magic flowing like a river, the scattered herbs rising and rearranging themselves according to her will, their aromas mixing and intensifying as they settled back into place. Meanwhile, Jack fought with strategic precision, his ice magic adapting to each spirit's unique attacks. He froze a rampaging Krampus in its tracks, its twisted form encased in a thick layer of ice. Then, he turned to face a mischievous leprechaun, his ice magic shifting to counter the leprechaun's luck-based tricks, the air shimmering with the clash of their opposing magics. Despite the chaos, Jack's focus remained unshakable, his every move calculated to maximize the impact of his magic and minimize the spirit's destructive potential. Jack, his breath visible in the chilled air, turned to Brigadier Nutcracker. The wooden soldier stood at attention, his painted eyes scanning the chaos. "Brigadier, we need to coordinate our efforts. Can you rally the toy soldiers to defend the town square?" Brigadier Nutcracker saluted sharply, his wooden joints creaking. "At your command, Jack. We'll form a perimeter and drive back these rogue spirits." He turned to the scattered toy soldiers, their paint-chipped and uniforms disheveled from the sudden attack. "Soldiers! Form ranks! We must protect Merry Hollow." The toy soldiers snapped into formation, their small bodies moving with a precision that belied their size. They marched forward, bayonets gleaming, and formed a protective circle around the town square. The air hummed with their collective magic, a barrier of shimmering light rising from their ranks, encasing the square in a dome of protective energy. Jack nodded, his ice magic crackling as he turned back to the fray. "Holly, we need to drive them back. Can you reinforce the soldiers' barrier with your sugar magic?" Holly, her eyes gleaming with determination, nodded. "On it." She raised her hands, her magic flowing like a river of molten sugar. It hardened into a crystalline lattice, reinforcing the soldiers' barrier, the sweet scent of candy filling the air. Jack turned to the townsfolk, their faces flushed with exertion and fear. "We need to push them back. Work together, use your magic in unison." He demonstrated, his ice magic forming a wall of frost that drove back a group of rampaging spirits. The townsfolk nodded, their resolve strengthening as they began to coordinate their efforts, their magic weaving together in a tapestry of light and sound. The battle raged on, the town square a whirlwind of magic and chaos. The rogue spirits fought with a wild abandon, their attacks erratic and unpredictable. But the townsfolk, bolstered by Jack's coordination and Holly's reinforcements, began to push back. The spirits' advances faltered, their lines breaking as they were driven back by the combined might of Mary Hollow's magic. But the victory came at a cost. The town square was a mess of scattered decorations and broken ornaments. The once pristine snow was churned into a slushy mess, stained with the remnants of shattered magic and discarded spells. The air was thick with the scent of ozone and burnt sugar, the acrid tang of spent magic lingering like a pall. Holly surveyed the damage, her heart aching at the sight of her beloved town in disarray. "We drove them back," she said, her voice barely above a whisper. "But at what cost?" Jack placed a comforting hand on her shoulder, his ice magic pulsing gently. "We'll rebuild, Holly. We'll make Mary Hollow stronger than ever." His eyes scanned the damaged square, his mind already racing with plans for repair and fortification. "But first, we need to make sure they can't attack us again." Holly and Jack stood side by side, surveying the wreckage of the town square. The once pristine decorations lay scattered and broken, ornaments crunching underfoot like shattered promises. Holly's heart ached at the sight, but her resolve remained unshaken. She turned to Jack, her green eyes reflecting the glint of shattered baubles. "We need to fix this. Now." Jack nodded, his ice blue eyes scanning the damage. "First, we stabilize the square. Then, we rally the town." He raised his hands, ice magic crackling to life. It flowed like a river, encasing broken decorations in a glistening layer of frost, preserving them until they could be repaired. Holly mirrored his actions, her sugar magic mending torn banners and reconstructing smashed gingerbread houses. She whispered incantations under her breath, her magic stitching together the frayed edges of the town's festive spirit. As they worked, the square began to regain a semblance of its former glory, the air filled with the sweet scent of candy and the crisp tang of fresh snow. Once the immediate damage was contained, Holly turned to Jack, her expression grave. "We need to call an emergency meeting. The town needs to know what's happening." Jack agreed, his jaw set in a determined line. "We'll gather everyone in the town hall. It's time to address this threat head-on." Word spread quickly through Mary Hollow, and within the hour, the town hall buzzed with anxious whispers. Residents filed in, their faces etched with concern and curiosity. Holly and Jack stood at the front of the room, their hands clasped together, a united front against the encroaching chaos. Holly stepped forward, her voice steady and clear. "Friends, neighbors, we've called you here today because Mary Hollow faces a new threat. The rogue spirits that attacked us are a symptom of a larger problem. The Yule Lodestone's influence is growing, and it's attracting unwanted attention." Jack took over, his diplomatic skills smoothing the edge of fear in the room. "We've stabilized the town square for now, but we need a more permanent solution. The ritual we've been planning is more crucial than ever. We need to harmonize the Lodestone's magic before it's too late." A murmur rippled through the crowd, a mix of apprehension and determination. One by one, the townsfolk began to nod, their resolve strengthening. The baker, his apron dusted with flour, stood up. "Whatever it takes, we're with you. Mary Hollow is our home, and we'll fight to protect it." The sentiment echoed through the room, each resident pledging their support. Holly's eyes welled with gratitude, and she squeezed Jack's hand. "Together," she said, her voice choked with emotion, "we can face anything." Jack nodded, his gaze sweeping over the assembled crowd. "Then it's settled. We move forward with the ritual, stronger and more united than ever. Mary Hollow will not fall." The meeting adjourned with a palpable sense of purpose, the townsfolk filing out with renewed determination. Holly and Jack watched them go, their hearts swelling with pride and love for their community. As the last resident left the hall, Holly turned to Jack, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "We can do this, Jack. Together, we can save Mary Hollow." Jack smiled, his thumb brushing away a stray tear from her cheek. "Together, Holly. That's the only way we've ever done anything." Chapter 14, Sugar Magic Malfunction. Holly lifted her hands, a glimmer of sugar magic dancing at her fingertips. She aimed to repair the broken gingerbread house, but her magic had different ideas. Rather than fusing the fragments together, the gingerbread erupted into a whirlwind of crumbs, blanketing the town square in a gooey, sugary chaos. Candy canes spun through the air like festive shrapnel, and peppermint sticks whirled like striped tornadoes. "Holly!" Jack yelled, evading a volley of rogue candy canes. He rushed to her side, frost magic snapping around him like a protective shield. "What's going on?" Holly's face paled, her eyes wide with panic. "I don't know. I can't control it." Her magic pulsed wildly, sending marshmallows raining from the sky like puffy snowflakes, while gumdrops pelted down like a colorful hailstorm. Jack grabbed her hand, his cool magic intertwining with hers, creating a swirling mix of ice and sugar. "Breathe, Holly. We'll fix this together." He guided her, their combined magic steadying the chaotic sugar storm. The marshmallows slowed, then stopped, hanging in the air like frozen clouds, while the gumdrops halted their descent, suspended in midair. Holly took a deep breath, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. She focused on Jack's calm presence, using it to anchor her spiraling magic. Slowly, the gingerbread crumbs and rogue candies returned to their original forms, the town square regaining a semblance of order. The scent of sweet chaos lingered, a sticky reminder of the magical mayhem. Once the immediate chaos was contained, Holly turned to Jack, her brow furrowed with worry. "What's happening to my magic? It's never acted like this before." Jack squeezed her hand, his ice magic soothing her frayed nerves like a cool balm. "We'll figure it out. Let's start by retracing your steps. What were you doing before the magic went haywire?" Holly thought back, her mind racing like a sleigh on ice. "I was trying to stabilize the square, just like we planned. But then, my magic, it was like it had a mind of its own. It felt like every sweet treat I've ever baked wanted to join the party." Jack nodded, his eyes scanning the square for any clues, the cobblestones glistening with a sugary sheen. "We need to find out what's causing this. It could be connected to the lodestone's influence." As they surveyed the damage, Brigadier Nutcracker approached, his wooden boots clicking against the cobblestones with a steady rhythm. "Holly, Jack," he greeted, his painted eyes filled with concern. "I've seen this before. It's a symptom of magical interference." Holly turned to the Nutcracker, her hope renewed like a parched plant in the rain. "Do you know what's causing it? How can we fix it?" Brigadier Nutcracker stroked his painted beard, his gaze thoughtful. "The lodestone's influence is growing, attracting more holiday magics to Merry Hollow. Your sugar magic is likely reacting to this influx. To stabilize it, you'll need to harmonize your magic with the lodestone's frequency." Jack's brow furrowed, his hands still clasped around Holly's, their magics intertwined like a festive ribbon. "How do we do that?" The Nutcracker's eyes gleamed with determination, reflecting the sparkling lights of the town square. "You'll need to perform a synchronization ritual. It's an ancient practice, designed to align a mage's magic with a powerful artifact. But be warned, it's not without its risks. If not performed correctly, it could leave Holly's magic in disarray, or worse, permanently altered." Holly's resolve hardened, her grip on Jack's hand tightening like a vice. "We'll do whatever it takes. Merry Hollow is counting on us." Holly and Jack wasted no time, diving headfirst into the preparations for the synchronization ritual. They split the list of required ingredients, rallying the townsfolk to assist in the gathering. Merry Hollow buzzed with a mix of apprehension and determination, each resident eager to contribute, their breaths visible in the cool air as they hurried about their tasks. Mrs. Claus gathered rare mistletoe from the enchanted grove, her fingers nimbly plucking the leaves from the branches, while the gingerbread baker ground his finest spices, the aroma filling the air with a comforting warmth that wafted through the streets. The candlemaker melted down his oldest wax, infusing it with a touch of his own flame magic, the scent of beeswax and smoke mingling in the crisp air. Each ingredient was carefully sourced, the town coming together like a well-oiled machine, their collective effort a testament to their love for Mary Hollow. Holly retreated to her cozy kitchen, the counters cluttered with the gathered components. She took a deep breath, her fingers tingling with anticipation and a hint of trepidation. The synchronization ritual was delicate, requiring precision and focus. She rolled up her sleeves, her festive sweater pushed aside to keep it clean, revealing her freckled arms dusted with a fine layer of flour. First, she combined the mistletoe and spices in her mortar, the pestle grinding them together in a rhythmic dance, the scent of pine and ginger filling the air like a potent Christmas potpourri. She added a drop of melted wax, the flame magic sizzling as it hit the cool mixture, releasing a plume of aromatic smoke. Jack watched from the doorway, his ice-blue eyes reflecting the flickering candlelight like tiny dancing flames. He held the final ingredient, a vial of shimmering frost magic, extracted from his own essence. It sparkled like liquid stardust in his hand. He stepped forward, handing it to Holly with a reassuring smile, his breath visible in the cool air of the kitchen. "You've got this, Holly." Holly nodded, her green eyes meeting his, a silent understanding passing between them. She poured the frost magic into the mixture, her sugar magic flaring to life like an ignited spark. The concoction glowed, the different magics swirling together like a miniature galaxy, a mesmerizing dance of light and color. She lifted her hands, her magic guiding the mixture as it coalesced into a single, pulsating orb. The orb hovered above her palms, the synchronized magic humming softly, a harmonious melody of different powers united. Holly's breath hitched, her heart pounding with a mix of excitement and fear, her nerves tingling with the magnitude of the task at hand. She looked at Jack, her voice barely a whisper, a tendril of steam rising from her lips. "It's ready." Jack placed a steadying hand on her shoulder, his cool magic grounding her, a solid anchor in the storm of emotions. Together, he murmured, his gaze unwavering, his breath mingling with hers in the cool air. Holly took a deep breath, her eyes fluttering closed as she prepared to merge the synchronized magic with her own. The orb pulsed, ready to bind Holly's magic to the lodestone's frequency, a union that would determine the fate of Mary Hollow. The kitchen hummed with anticipation, the air thick with the scent of pine, ginger, and magic, a heady mix that clung to the walls like a comforting embrace. Holly's lips parted, her incantation soft yet powerful, the first words of the ritual spilling forth like a gentle melody, weaving a spell that would change the course of their journey. Holly's hands glowed with a soft, steady light as her sugar magic flowed smoothly, the chaotic pulsing finally subsided, replaced by a steady, rhythmic thrum. She let out a sigh of relief, her shoulders relaxing as she regained control, the tension melting away like ice under a warm sun. "We're not out of the woods yet," Jack murmured, his gaze scanning the crowd. "But this is a start." Chapter 15, Full-Scale Attack. The rogue spirits descended upon Mary Hollow in a chaotic symphony of discordant magic, their forms shimmering like twisted mirages of holiday cheer. Gingerbread men marched with militaristic precision, their candy buttons glinting menacingly under the flickering lights of the town's enchanted Christmas tree. Ghostly dreidels spun through the air, leaving trails of frost and fire that scorched the festive decorations adorning the town, their erratic paths a stark contrast to the usual harmonious atmosphere of Mary Hollow. The usually jovial snowmen now loomed large and menacing, their carrot noses jutting out like grotesque parodies of their former cheerful selves, casting eerie shadows that danced macabrely on the snow-covered ground. The town's enchanted Christmas tree flickered, its lights dimming under the onslaught, casting eerie shadows that danced macabrely on the snow-covered ground, a stark contrast to the usual warm glow that bathed Mary Hollow. Holly and Jack sprang into action, their voices cutting through the panic like a sharp knife through a warm pie, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. "To arms, Mary Hollow!" Jack's command echoed through the streets, his ice magic flaring as he summoned defensive barriers around key locations. The town hall, the library, and the sugarplum orchard shimmered behind walls of solid ice, the frost etching intricate patterns on their surfaces that glinted under the fading glow of the Christmas tree, a testament to Jack's growing connection to the town's magic. Each ice barrier pulsed with a rhythm that mirrored Jack's heartbeat, a symbol of his unyielding resolve and deepening bond with Mary Hollow. Holly's sugar magic danced around her, the air filling with the scent of sweet warmth, a comforting contrast to the chill of the rogue spirit's presence. She flicked her wrists, sending ribbons of caramel lashing out to entangle advancing nutcracker soldiers. The caramel hardened, binding the wooden figures in place, their painted smiles frozen in surprise, their limbs stuck in mid-stride. Holly's magic flowed with a precision born of newfound confidence, each movement a testament to her growth from a hesitant witch to a formidable protector of Mary Hollow. Her eyes scanned the battlefield, her expressions shifting between determination and concern for her fellow townspeople. Brigadier Nutcracker, his uniform adorned with battle-ready decorations, charged into the fray, his wooden legs moving with an agility that belied their stiff appearance. His sword clashed against a rogue candy cane pike, the sound ringing out like a discordant bell, a harsh contrast to the usual melodies of Mary Hollow. For Mary Hollow, he bellowed, his voice a rallying cry that galvanized the townspeople, stirring within them a fierce determination to protect their home. The townsfolk, inspired by the brigadier's resolve, began to fight back with renewed vigor, their faces etched with determination as they defended their beloved town. The Kringle clan joined the fight, their sleighs swooping down from the skies, reindeer hooves striking sparks against the cobblestones, leaving trails of embers that flickered briefly before dying away. Santa Claus himself, his beard flowing like a battle standard, wielded a sack of enchanted toys, each one a weapon against the rogue spirits. A teddy bear roared to life, its plush form swelling to monstrous proportions as it tackled a marauding Krampus, the dark creature's shrieks echoing through the streets, a chilling reminder of the stakes they were fighting for. The Kringle's presence brought a surge of hope, their magical toys turning the tide of the battle in favor of Mary Hollow's defenders. Jack, his eyes scanning the battlefield with a strategic precision honed by years of experience, coordinated with the town council. Mrs. Claus, secure the town hall. Gingerbread baker, we need more fortifications around the orchard. His voice was a steady drumbeat, his commands clear and precise, cutting through the chaos and providing a steadying influence on the townspeople. The council members nodded, their magic flaring as they sprang into action, their movements fueled by a resolve to protect their town and its traditions. The town hall's doors sealed shut with a wave of Mrs. Claus's hand, while the gingerbread baker's creations bolstered the defenses, their forms hardening into impenetrable barriers, a testament to the united strength of Mary Hollow's inhabitants. Holly, her hands a blur of motion, crafted sugar shields to protect the townspeople, her magic a dance of creation and defense. She sent waves of marzipan snakes slithering through the streets, their forms writhing around the ankles of advancing spirits, tripping them and slowing their advance. The air crackled with the clash of magics, the scent of pine and peppermint mingling with the acrid tang of burnt sugar, a testament to the fierce battle being waged. Each sugar shield glowed with an inner light, a symbol of Holly's unwavering dedication to her town and its people, her love for Mary Hollow shining through every magical creation. A group of rogue snowmen, their eyes glowing with malevolent light, advanced on the town square, their forms towering and menacing. Holly spun, her magic flaring like a blazing fire, as she crafted a massive gingerbread wall, the cookies snapping into place like a fortress, a barrier between the townspeople and the encroaching danger. The snowmen slammed against the wall, their icy forms shattering under the impact, their remnants scattering across the cobblestones, a stark reminder of the power of Holly's magic and her unyielding resolve to protect her home. Jack, his ice magic pulsing like a heartbeat, summoned a blizzard to drive back a horde of rogue elves, their pointed ears and mischievous grins a stark contrast to the usual cheerful demeanor of their kind. The wind howled, the snow swirling like a living thing, pushing the elves back and scattering their ranks, their forms disappearing into the whiteout. The town's defenders cheered, their spirits bolstered by the sight of their leader's resolve, a beacon of hope in the midst of the chaos. The blizzard subsided, revealing the cleared streets, a testament to Jack's mastery over his element and his deepening connection to Mary Hollow's magic. The battle raged on, the streets of Merry Hollow a whirlwind of clashing magics and determined resistance. Holly and Jack fought side by side, their bond a tangible force that bolstered the town's defenses, a testament to the power of unity and shared purpose. The rogue spirits, their numbers dwindling, began to falter under the relentless onslaught, their forms flickering like dying flames. The townspeople, emboldened by their leaders, fought with renewed vigor, their faces a mix of determination and hope, their spirits unbroken despite the chaos around them. Brigadier Nutcracker, his sword a blur of motion, cut down the last of the rogue Nutcracker soldiers, his wooden form standing tall and proud amidst the chaos. The Kringle clan, their sleighs sweeping through the skies, drove back the remaining spirits with a barrage of enchanted toys, their forms dissolving into the ether, their cries of defeat echoing through the air. The town square, once a battleground, now stood silent, the air thick with the scent of victory and the remnants of spent magic, a testament to the town's resilience and the power of its people. The rogue spirits, their forces decimated, retreated into the shadows, their forms dissolving into the ether like mist under the morning sun. Holly and Jack, their breaths coming in ragged gasps, surveyed the battlefield, their eyes taking in the aftermath of the struggle. The townspeople cheered, their voices a chorus of triumph and relief, a celebration of their victory and the preservation of their home. The battle for Merry Hollow was won, but the war for its future was far from over, the echoes of the conflict still lingering in the air like the faint strains of a distant melody, a reminder of the challenges yet to come. Chapter 16, Climactic Battle. Holly and Jack stood at the heart of the ritual site, the air humming with anticipation and the lingering scent of spent magic. The town square, once a picture of quaint serenity with its frost-dusted cobblestones and twinkling fairy lights, now buzzed with an undercurrent of tension that prickled their skin. The rogue spirits, in a desperate bid to disrupt the preparations and plunge Merry Hollow into chaos, launched their final assault. A horde of misshapen snowmen, their coal eyes glowing with malice and branches jutting out at odd angles, lumbered forward like an avalanche of frost, their misshapen forms casting eerie shadows that danced macabrely across the cobblestones. Behind them, spectral dreidels spun wildly, leaving trails of fire and ice that crackled through the air, their erratic paths etching a chaotic dance of elements. Holly's eyes narrowed, her hands already weaving intricate patterns in the air as she summoned her magic, the very atmosphere seeming to bend to her will, charged with an electric anticipation that made the hairs on her arms stand up. "We won't let them stop us," she declared, her voice steady and determined, echoing through the square like a battle cry that rallied the hearts of all who heard it. Jack, his gaze sharp and calculating, nodded resolutely, his silver hair shimmering under the moonlight like a cascade of frozen starlight. "We've come too far to falter now," he said, his voice a low growl of resolve. He raised his hands, ice magic crackling at his fingertips like tiny bolts of frozen lightning, ready to be unleashed with pinpoint precision. "Allies, to arms!" His command rang out, cutting through the cold night air with an authority that was impossible to ignore, a clarion call that stirred the blood and steeled the nerves. Brigadier Nutcracker, his wooden form glinting under the pale luminescence of the moon, charged forward with surprising agility, his polished boots clicking sharply against the cobblestones. His sword was a blur of motion as he led the Nutcracker soldiers into battle, their wooden jaws set in determination, their painted eyes flashing with martial fervor. The Kringle clan, their sleighs swooping down from the skies with a chorus of jingling bells that sounded like a symphony of war, unleashed a barrage of enchanted toys that whizzed through the air like miniature comets, leaving trails of stardust in their wake that sparkled briefly before fading away. The town council, their magic flaring in a kaleidoscope of colors that painted the night with hues both brilliant and dire, formed a defensive line, their voices rising in a chorus of incantations that resonated with raw, unbridled power, the air thrumming with the intensity of their combined might. The battle reached its zenith, magic flying in all directions, clashing and merging in a symphony of light and sound that was both terrifying and awe-inspiring, a chaotic ballet of forces that threatened to overwhelm the senses. Holly, her breath coming in ragged gasps, tapped into her deepest reserves of magic, drawing strength from the very heart of Merry Hollow, from the love and unity of its people, and from the eternal spirit of Christmas that bound them all together. She sent waves of caramel snakes slithering across the square, their forms writhing around the advancing spirits, binding them with sticky, sweet restraints that glistened under the enchanted lights like some surreal, sugary nightmare. The air filled with the scent of burnt sugar as her magic clashed with the rogue spirit's chaotic energies, creating a discordant melody that echoed through the town, a testament to the fierce struggle for control that played out in the streets and skies of Merry Hollow. Jack, his strategic mind in overdrive, coordinated the town's defenses with the precision of a seasoned general, his eyes scanning the battlefield with a keen intelligence that missed nothing. "Mrs. Claus, reinforce the eastern flank with your reindeer. Gingerbread baker, we need more fortifications around the orchard, use your strongest dough." His commands cut through the chaos, his voice a steady drumbeat that galvanized the townspeople, inspiring them to fight with renewed vigor and a united front that stood firm against the encroaching darkness. The rogue spirits, their numbers dwindling under the onslaught, made a last-ditch effort to break through the defenses, their forms flickering and wavering like dying candles. A monstrous Krampus, its eyes blazing with fury and its form a twisted amalgamation of goat and demon, charged towards Holly, its cloven hooves striking sparks from the cobblestones. She stood her ground, her magic flaring like a defiant beacon against the encroaching shadows. Crafting a massive gingerbread wall, its surface glistening with icing that shimmered like armor under the moonlight, she braced herself for the impact. The Krampus slammed against the wall with a deafening roar, its form shattering under the impact, crumbling into a heap of dark ashes that scattered across the frost-dusted cobblestones like grim confetti. With a final, desperate cry, the remaining rogue spirits dissolved into the ether, their forms fading like mist under the sun, swallowed by the night as if they had never been. Holly and Jack, their breaths coming in ragged gasps, surveyed the aftermath, their eyes scanning the square that had once been a picture of quaint serenity and was now a tableau of battle, a testament to the struggle that had taken place. The town square, once a battleground filled with the cacophony of clashing magic, now stood silent, the air thick with the scent of victory and the remnants of spent magic that lingered like a ghostly perfume, a haunting reminder of the price that had been paid for peace. Exhausted but victorious, Holly and Jack turned to face the town, their bodies aching from the fight but their spirits unbroken. Their eyes met, a silent understanding passing between them, an acknowledgement of the trials they had faced and the trials yet to come. They had won the battle, but the war for Merry Hollow's future was far from over. The night was still young, and the true test of their leadership and the town's unity was yet to come, a challenge that loomed on the horizon like a distant storm, filled with both promise and peril. "We did it," Holly whispered, her voice barely audible over the hushed murmurs of the townspeople, who looked at her with a mix of awe and gratitude, their eyes reflecting the flickering lights of the enchanted Christmas tree that stood tall and proud in the center of the square, a beacon of hope amidst the ruins of battle. Jack nodded, his ice blue eyes reflecting the same lights, a somber expression on his face as he took in the scene of their hard-won victory. But at a great cost, he acknowledged, his gaze sweeping over the destruction and the remnants of the battle that lay scattered across the square, a stark reminder of the sacrifices that had been made and the debts that had been paid in the name of Merry Hollow's future. Holly straightened, her gaze sweeping over the assembled townspeople, her expression filled with determination. "We must rally the town," she declared, her voice steady and resolute, carrying the weight of her newfound leadership. "The final push towards the ritual begins now. We must stand together, stronger than ever, to ensure Merry Hollow's future." The town, their spirits bolstered by the sight of their leader's resolve and the promise of a brighter tomorrow, began to gather in anticipation. The stage was set for the grand ritual to begin, the promise of a new beginning hanging heavy in the air, intermingling with the scent of pine needles and the soft glow of holiday lights. Chapter 17, Final Preparations. Holly and Jack moved through the town square, their breaths misting in the crisp air, finalizing preparations for the grand ritual. The townspeople buzzed around them, carrying armloads of festive greenery, sparkling ornaments, and enchanted trinkets, the last of the necessary items gathered from every corner of Merry Hollow. The atmosphere was electric, a mix of anticipation and nervous energy that hummed like a live wire. Holly stood at the edge of the square, her eyes closed, hands raised as she performed a final check on her magic. She whispered an incantation under her breath, and a soft glow enveloped her, shimmering like sugar crystals in the sunlight. Her magic pulsed steadily, a comforting rhythm that matched the beat of her heart. She opened her eyes, a small smile playing on her lips, satisfied with the stability of her power. The scent of gingerbread and sweet spices wafted gently around her, a testament to her growing control over her unique brand of magic. Meanwhile, Jack directed a group of volunteers with an assuredness that came from months of integration into Mary Hollow's community. His voice clear and commanding, he coordinated the placement of ritual components. "The candles go in a circle around the tree," he instructed, gesturing to the towering Christmas tree that stood as the town's symbol of unity and resilience. "Make sure they're evenly spaced. We need the energy to flow smoothly." His ice-blue eyes skimmed the square, ensuring every detail was in place, every element accounted for. The air around him crackled slightly with the chill of his ice magic, a subtle reminder of his otherworldly origins. The town council huddled nearby, poring over a scroll that detailed the ritual steps. Their faces were a study in concentration, brows furrowed and lips pursed as they reviewed the intricate dance of magic and tradition they were about to undertake. The scroll, illuminated with a soft golden light, seemed to hum with an energy of its own, a testament to the power it held. Occasionally, one of them would look up, glancing at Holly and Jack with a mixture of respect and hope. As the final preparations wound down, Holly and Jack found a quiet moment amidst the bustle. They stood together, their shoulders touching, gazes sweeping over the transformed town square. The air was filled with the scent of pine and peppermint, the soft glow of holiday lights casting a warm halo over the scene. Above them, softly falling snowflakes added a gentle, peaceful touch to the atmosphere, each one unique and perfect. "We've come a long way, haven't we?" Holly murmured, her voice barely above a whisper. Her green eyes reflected the twinkling lights, a mix of wonder and determination shining in their depths. She thought back to their first meeting, the challenges they'd faced, and the bond that had grown between them. Jack nodded, a small smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. "From chasing down rogue spirits to uniting the town," he agreed, his voice steady and sure. "We've faced every challenge together. And we'll face this one the same way." He looked at her, his eyes reflecting the lights and the shared memories of their journey. Holly reached out, her fingers brushing against Jack's, a silent promise passing between them. "Together," she echoed, her voice filled with a hope that was as bright and steadfast as the lights that adorned the square. Their gazes locked, a moment of reflection and hope shared between them, a testament to the journey they had undertaken and the challenges they had yet to face. Around them, the townsfolk moved with purpose, their voices a low hum of determination. Brigadier Nutcracker stepped forward, his wooden frame creaking slightly as he stood tall and proud. His painted eyes surveyed the sea of faces before him, each one a mix of hope and trepidation. He raised his saber, the metal gleaming under the festive lights, and began to speak. His voice boomed, clear and commanding, carrying the weight of tradition and the promise of a brighter future. "Citizens of Mary Hollow," he declared, "today, we stand united, not just as a town, but as a family. We have faced trials and tribulations, but we have emerged stronger, more resilient." He paused, his gaze sweeping over the crowd, taking in the faces of those he had sworn to protect. "The magic that binds us is not just in our spells or our traditions. It is in our hearts, in our unity. Today, we reclaim our future, together." The townspeople nodded, murmurs of agreement rippling through the crowd. The ritual site was a spectacle of color and light. Festive strings of bulbs crisscrossed overhead, casting a warm glow on the gathering. Symbols of various holidays adorned the space, candles for Hanukkah, lanterns for Diwali, garlands for Christmas, and more. Each element represented a piece of the magical tapestry they were about to weave, a testament to the diversity and strength of their community. The townsfolk began to take their positions, moving with a sense of purpose and determination. Children clutched tightly to their parents' hands, their eyes wide with awe and excitement. Elders stood tall, their faces etched with the wisdom of years past. The air hummed with a quiet energy, a blend of anticipation and resolve. Among them, the winter spirits whispered softly, their presence a reminder of the town's origins and the balance they sought to maintain. At the center of it all, Holly and Jack stood hand in hand. Holly's green eyes sparkled with a mix of nerves and determination, her curly red hair caught in the soft breeze. Jack's ice blue eyes scanned the crowd, his shimmering blue coat reflecting the festive lights. Their bond was palpable, a silent strength that anchored the gathering, a beacon of hope and unity in the face of the unknown. As the town fell silent, the anticipation was palpable. Holly and Jack exchanged a glance, a silent understanding passing between them. They were ready. Ready to lead the ceremony, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. The future of Merry Hollow rested in their hands, and they were prepared to embrace it, whatever it may bring. Chapter 18, The Grand Ritual. The grand ritual began with Holly and Jack standing tall at the center of the gathering, their voices clear and strong as they led the incantations. The air hummed with anticipation, and the first whispers of magic stirred, sending a shiver through the crowd. Holly's hands glowed with a soft, warm light, her sugar magic already responding to the ritual's call. The scent of sweet confections filled the air, mingling with the crisp, cool aroma of Jack's ice magic. By the light of the Yule and the spirit of unity, Holly chanted, her voice carrying over the hushed crowd. Jack's voice joined hers, his ice magic shimmering in the air, intertwining with her spell. We call upon the magic of Merry Hollow and the holidays we hold dear. A murmur of agreement rippled through the townspeople, and the air began to swirl with magical energies. Lights flickered and danced, casting a kaleidoscope of colors across the snow-covered square. Each faction of the town contributed its unique holiday magic, creating a dazzling display that was both beautiful and chaotic. The Kringle clan's powerful Christmas magic brought forth wreaths of holly and ivy that floated midair, while the winter spirit's ancient incantations conjured ethereal snowflakes that sparkled like diamonds. Holly's sugar magic took on a life of its own, spinning intricate patterns in the air. Delicate filigrees of sparkling sugar crystals formed, weaving together in a dance that mirrored the town's hopes and fears. Jack, his eyes reflecting the magical lights, guided the townspeople through the ritual steps with calm precision. His ice magic flowed like a river, providing a stable foundation for the wilder, more erratic energies. It coated the ground in frost that glittered like a million tiny stars, anchoring the swirling maelstrom above. The winter spirits whispered ancient incantations, their breaths visible in the cold air. The Kringle clan, their faces set in determination, added their powerful Christmas magic to the mix. Lanterns of Diwali floated above, their lights flickering in sync with the rhythm of the chanting. Hanukkah candles burned brightly, their flames steady and true despite the swirling winds of magic. From the outskirts of the gathering, the soft melody of Kwanzaa songs could be heard, their harmonies blending seamlessly with the other traditions. As the magical energies began to harmonize, the air crackled with potential. But the process was unstable, like a delicate balance that could tip at any moment. Holly's sugar patterns wavered, their edges fraying as the different magics pushed and pulled against each other. Jack's ice magic strained, the frost spreading thin as it tried to contain the chaotic forces. The town square seemed to groan under the pressure, the very air growing dense with the weight of expectation. Holly glanced at Jack, her eyes reflecting the swirling lights. "We need more control," she murmured, her voice barely audible over the hum of magic. Jack nodded, his brow furrowed in concentration as he adjusted the flow of his ice magic, trying to stabilize the volatile mix. His hands moved gracefully, as if conducting an unseen orchestra, urging the disparate elements to come together. The townspeople, sensing the instability, redoubled their efforts. The chanting grew louder, more insistent. The magical energies surged, the lights flickering brighter and faster. The air was thick with magic, the scent of pine and peppermint mingling with the sweet aroma of holly's sugar spells and the warm, comforting smell of gingerbread. But even as the magic swirled and danced, the harmony remained elusive. The ritual was a living thing, a wild beast that resisted their attempts to tame it. Holly and Jack stood at the eye of the storm, their hands clasped tightly, their voices rising above the chaos. The future of Merry Hollow hung in the balance, and they were determined to see it through, no matter the cost. Their resolve was a beacon, steadfast and unyielding, amidst the tumultuous sea of magic. The magical energies began to harmonize, but the process was as temperamental as a poorly mixed batch of eggnog. Holly's sugar magic wavered, the crystalline patterns flickering like a candle in the wind. Jack's ice magic pulsed, its steady rhythm interrupted by sudden spikes of power. The townspeople, hands clasped tightly, formed a living chain around the town square, their combined magical flow surging and ebbing unpredictably. The ground trembled slightly, as if the very essence of Merry Hollow was shifting beneath their feet. Holly turned to Jack, her green eyes reflecting the chaotic dance of lights. "We need to stabilize it," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil around them. Jack nodded, his silver hair whipping around his face as a gust of magical wind swept through the square. "Together," he said, his voice a low rumble. "Like we've done everything else." Holly smiled, her grip on Jack's hand tightening. They turned to face the swirling maelstrom of magic, their shoulders squared and chins lifted. The townspeople, seeing their resolve, stood taller, their voices growing louder and more confident in the chant. The unity of their purpose was palpable, a tangible force that seemed to solidify the air itself. Holly and Jack began to channel their love and unity into the ritual. Their combined magic was a beacon of stability amidst the chaos, a steady heartbeat that calmed the wildly fluctuating energies. The townspeople, feeling the shift, joined hands more firmly, their magical flow strengthening and smoothing out. The air grew warmer, the light softer, as if the very atmosphere responded to their collective will. The ritual reached its climax, the air thick with anticipation and magic. The diverse holiday magics swirled and danced, their colors blending and merging. The scent of pine and peppermint mingled with the aroma of freshly baked bread and the tang of crisp apples. The air hummed with the sound of carols and ancient chants, their melodies weaving together in a symphony of unity. Above, the sky was a tapestry of light, with stars and lanterns shining down in harmonious concert. A brilliant explosion of light filled the town square, blinding in its intensity. The townspeople gasped, their hands gripping each other tightly as the wave of magic washed over them. The light pulsed, its center a kaleidoscope of colors that shifted and changed with each heartbeat. It was as if the very essence of the holidays had been distilled into a single, radiant moment. As the light began to fade, the townspeople blinked, their eyes adjusting to the sudden change. The town square was transformed, the once purely Christmas decorations now intertwined with symbols and motifs from a dozen different holidays. Lanterns of Diwali hung from the eaves of the town hall, their lights flickering softly. A menorah stood tall and proud next to the enchanted Christmas tree, its candles burning brightly. Above, the sky was filled with the soft glow of floating lanterns, their gentle lights casting a warm glow over the town. The diverse holiday magics had harmonized, transforming Merry Hollow into a tapestry of traditions, each one adding its own unique thread to the fabric of the town's magic. The townspeople looked around, their eyes wide with wonder and awe at the sight of their home, reborn and renewed. The air was filled with a sense of peace and unity, a tangible testament to the power of their collective will and the magic that bound them together. Chapter 19, Ritual Backlash. The brilliant explosion of light faded, revealing a town square in chaos. The once harmonious blend of holiday magics now clashed violently. Lanterns flickered wildly, casting eerie shadows that danced macabrely across the snow. The menorah's flames leapt dangerously high, their reflections shimmering in the shattered ornaments that littered the ground. The Christmas tree's ornaments rattled ominously, some of them exploding like tiny, glittering bombs. The air crackled with static, and the scent of burnt sugar filled every breath, choking the once festive atmosphere. The townspeople, once united in celebration, now scattered in fear, their faces pale and eyes wide with confusion. Holly's heart pounded against her ribs as she surveyed the scene, her breath coming in short, sharp gasps. The town square was almost unrecognizable, the once charming decorations now a whirlwind of chaotic magic. The scent of burnt sugar mingled with the sharp tang of ozone and the acrid smell of smoke, creating a disconcerting aroma that hung heavy in the air. "What happened?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the cacophony of crackling energy and discordant holiday tunes that echoed through the square like a deranged symphony. The Christmas wreaths that once adorned the lampposts now sparked with erratic energy, sending jolts of electricity snaking through the air, while the garlands that draped the buildings seemed to writhe and twist unnaturally, as if possessed by some unseen force. Jack's grip on her hand tightened, his ice-blue eyes scanning the chaos with a calculated intensity. His breath misted in the suddenly frigid air, a visible testament to the wild magic that swirled around them like a blizzard. "The ritual, it backfired," he said, his voice steady despite the turmoil, a rock in the midst of a stormy sea. "We need to contain this, now." They sprang into action, Jack summoning walls of ice to shield the townspeople from the wild magic that thrashed about like a storm at sea. The ice shimmered and crackled, reflecting the erratic lights that danced around them like a demented aurora. Some townsfolk huddled behind the barriers, their faces pale with fear and confusion, while others cried out in distress as the chaotic magic wreaked havoc on their town. Holly attempted to soothe the rampant energies with her sugar magic, her hands weaving intricate patterns in the air as she called upon the calming properties of gingerbread and peppermint. But the chaos only intensified, the clashing magics resisting their efforts like unruly children defying their parents, growing wilder and more destructive with each passing moment. The Christmas tree's ornaments rattled even more violently, some of them shattering and raining down shards of glass that glittered menacingly in the flickering lights like deadly snowflakes. The nativity scene figures seemed to move on their own, their painted faces contorted in eerie expressions, as if twisted by some dark force. Brigadier Nutcracker, his wooden face grim and determined, joined them, his magical sword at the ready. His uniform, usually pristine, bore the signs of the chaos, with scuffs and scratches marring its surface, a testament to the battles he had already fought this night. A small group of Nutcracker soldiers followed him, their toy weapons drawn, ready to assist despite the fear etched on their wooden faces. "This is beyond our control," he shouted over the din, his voice a deep baritone that cut through the noise like a knife. "We need a new plan." Despair washed over Holly like a dark tide as she watched her beloved town fracture before her eyes. The once cheerful decorations now seemed like mocking reminders of their failed attempt at unity, the flickering lights casting eerie shadows on the distorted faces of the townspeople. The menorah's flames leapt even higher, their reflections dancing wildly in the shattered ornaments scattered across the square like the remnants of a broken dream. The giant candy canes that lined the paths cracked and splintered, their fragments scattering like dangerous projectiles, a twisted parody of the festive treats they once were. She closed her eyes, and a vision flooded her mind, Merry Hollow in ruins, the eternal Christmas magic shattered, the townspeople lost and scattered like fallen leaves in a winter storm, their laughter and joy replaced by silence and despair. The holiday spirit that had once knitted the town together seemed to be unraveling, threatening to leave behind only empty shells of what once was, a graveyard of broken dreams and shattered hopes. "Holly!" Jack's voice cut through the chaos, grounding her like a lifeline in a tumultuous sea. She opened her eyes to find him before her, his hands cupping her face, his gaze steady and reassuring, a beacon of hope amidst the storm. "We're not done yet," he said, his voice firm with unyielding resolve. "We need to regroup, find a solution." Holly nodded, drawing strength from his determination, using it to bolster her own resolve. She turned to the townspeople, her voice ringing out clear and strong, a beacon of hope amidst the chaos. "Everyone, gather at the town hall. We need to work together if we're going to fix this." The townspeople, driven by a common goal and a renewed sense of purpose, began to rally. They streamed towards the town hall, their faces set with determination, their eyes reflecting the flickering lights of the chaotic magic around them like an army marching into battle. Some clutched onto each other for support, while others held makeshift weapons, ready to defend their town against the encroaching chaos. The baker, Mr. Kringle, wielded a rolling pin like a club, his usually jovial face marked with fierce resolve, a stark contrast to the cheerful demeanor he usually wore. The toy maker, Mrs. Claus, carried a bag of hastily enchanted toys, ready to deploy them if needed, her eyes filled with a steely determination that belied her usual warmth. Holly and Jack followed, their hands clasped tightly, their resolve unbroken, a united front against the storm, a testament to the power of their love and their commitment to their town and its people. As they entered the town hall, Holly paused, her eyes widening as realization dawned like the first light of daybreak, a ray of hope piercing the darkness. "Love and unity," she murmured, turning to Jack, her voice filled with a newfound understanding. The town hall, usually a place of warmth and camaraderie, now felt charged with an electric tension, a silent witness to the turmoil outside, a battleground where the fate of their town would be decided. The holiday banners that hung from the rafters seemed to ripple with anticipation, as if awaiting the outcome of their struggle, while the large Christmas tree in the corner crackled with energy, its lights flickering in sync with the chaos outside, a reflection of the battle that raged within and without. That's the missing element. The ritual was mechanical, but magic, true magic, comes from the heart. Jack's eyes softened, understanding shining in their depths like the first rays of sunlight on a frosty morning, a promise of hope and renewal. "Our vows," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, a tender smile playing at the corners of his mouth, a testament to the love that burned brightly between them, a beacon of hope in the darkness. "We never finished them." Holly nodded, a renewed hope burning in her chest like a warm hearth on a cold winter's night, a promise of comfort and solace in the midst of the storm. She turned to the gathered townspeople, her voice filled with conviction, her eyes shining with unshed tears, a testament to the depth of her love and her commitment to her town and its people. "We're going to renew our vows, right here, right now. And this time, we're going to pour every ounce of our love and unity into the ritual. Together, we're going to save Merry Hollow." The townspeople nodded, their faces reflecting her determination, ready to stand with her and Jack, to harness the power of their collective spirit and restore order to their magical home, to fight for the town they loved and the future they desired, a future filled with hope, love, and unity. The townspeople looked at each other, hope blossoming in their eyes. They gathered around Holly and Jack, their hands joined, their hearts open. With the renewed vows as their final hope, Holly and Jack stood ready to transform Merry Hollow once and for all. Chapter 20, Renewed Vows. As Holly and Jack stood hand in hand, their eyes locked, the townspeople held their breath, watching, hoping. The air hummed with anticipation, the magical energies swirling around them like a living thing, reacting to the resonance of their words. Each syllable uttered seemed to weave into the fabric of the magic, strengthening it, shaping it. The scent of pine and winter blossoms filled the air, a tangible representation of the love and unity that bound the couple and the town together. The snow beneath their feet sparkled, reflecting the myriad of colors that danced in the magic-laden atmosphere. "I, Holly Evergreen," she began, her voice steady and clear, a beacon of hope cutting through the chaos. Her eyes met Jack's, and the world around them seemed to still, the air itself holding its breath. "Take you, Jack Frost, to be my partner, my confidant, my love. I promise to stand by your side, to support and cherish you, through all the seasons of life. Through the brightest summers and the darkest winters, through the calm and the storm, I will be your steadfast companion. I will be your warmth in the cold, your light in the darkness, your laughter in the silence." The words echoed, amplified by the magical backdrop, and the townspeople felt a surge of hope, a warmth that started in their chests and spread outwards, like the first sip of hot cocoa on a cold winter's night. They leaned in, their hearts open, their spirits lifting with each word, drawing strength from the unbreakable bond being forged before them. The magic around them pulsed, resonating with the sincerity of her vows, the love that poured forth from her heart. The enchanted Christmas tree in the town square seemed to glow brighter, its lights flickering in harmony with Holly's declarations, casting a warm, inviting glow over the gathered crowd. Jack's gaze softened, his ice blue eyes reflecting the dancing lights of the magic around them. He took a deep breath, his voice steady and sure. "And I, Jack Frost, take you, Holly Evergreen, to be my compass, my heart, my home. I vow to protect and honor you, to be your shelter in the storm, your solace in the silence. In times of joy and sorrow, through triumph and trial, I will be your unyielding support. I will be the ice that reflects your warmth, the wind that carries your laughter, the frost that etches the beauty of our life together." His voice was firm, unyielding, a promise etched in ice and stone. The townspeople nodded, their hands clasped tightly, their hearts beating in unison, a silent testament to the unity that bound them together. A sense of belonging, of community, wrapped around them like a warm embrace, a tangible force that connected each and every soul present. The magic of Merry Hollow hummed, harmonizing with Jack's declarations, the power of his love intertwining with the enchantments that filled the air. The snowflakes that drifted down seemed to dance in rhythm with his words, each one a unique testament to the love that filled the air. As they spoke, the chaotic magical backlash began to subside, the discordant energies smoothing out, responding to the harmony in their voices, the love in their words. Holly and Jack's love infused the ritual with new energy, a power that was more than just magic, more than just words. It was a force that transcended the boundaries of their world, a force that could heal, that could unite. The erratic sparks of magic began to weave together, forming a tapestry of light and color that mirrored the love and unity of the town, each thread shimmering with the essence of their shared hope and determination. The clashing holiday magics began to find a rhythm, a harmony that echoed the beat of Holly and Jack's intertwined hearts. The air filled with the soft tinkling of bells, the rustle of leaves, the whisper of snowflakes, all merging into a symphony that celebrated the unique blend of their collective spirit. The diverse holiday magics started to harmonize once more, the clashing colors and sounds blending together into a symphony of light and sound. The townspeople joined in, their voices rising in a chorus of support, their magic flowing into the ritual, a river of light and hope. They swayed together, their movements synchronized, a dance of unity and love that echoed the rhythm of their intertwined hearts. The air filled with the scent of pine and peppermint, the taste of sugar plums and gingerbread, the sounds of laughter and joy, all melding into a sensory celebration of their collective spirit. The magic of Merry Hollow swirled around them, a living testament to their unity, their love, their shared destiny. The enchanted Christmas tree seemed to grow taller, its branches stretching out as if to embrace the entire town, its lights twinkling in harmony with the magical energies that filled the air, casting a radiant glow that enveloped the entire town square. Holly and Jack turned to face the town, their hands clasped tightly, their eyes reflecting the magic that surrounded them. With this promise, they said in unison, their voices ringing out clear and true, resonating with the power of their commitment. "We seal our bond, now and forever. We vow to protect and cherish Merry Hollow, to honor its past and embrace its future. To nurture its growth and safeguard its heart, for as long as our love endures." The town responded with a cheer, the magical energies coalescing into a brilliant display of fireworks that lit up the night sky, a celebration of love, unity, and hope that painted the darkness with vibrant hues. A testament to the indomitable spirit of Merry Hollow and the unbreakable bond of Holly and Jack. The magic of their love soared high above the town, a beacon of hope and unity that would guide Merry Hollow through the seasons, through the storms, through the endless dance of life and love. The ritual's power surged, a wave of light and warmth that washed over the town, transforming it, healing it. The townspeople cheered, their voices filled with joy and relief, their hearts filled with hope. Merry Hollow began to transform, the chaotic blend of holiday magics merging together into something new, something beautiful, something uniquely their own. The snow-covered streets seemed to shimmer with a new kind of magic, a magic that celebrated the diversity and unity of the town, a magic that promised a future filled with love, laughter, and endless possibilities. The air hummed with a renewed sense of energy and purpose, a testament to the power of love and community that would guide Merry Hollow into a bright and magical future. Chapter 21, Magic Harmonized. The diverse holiday magics fully harmonized, creating a breathtaking tapestry that shimmered and danced across Merry Hollow. The once chaotic energies now wove together seamlessly, painting the town in a vibrant display of lights and colors that celebrated the unity of its people. The air hummed with a symphony of sounds, the tinkling of bells, the rustle of leaves, the whisper of snowflakes, the rhythmic beat of drums, and the melodic calls of traditional instruments, each note a testament to the harmonious blend of traditions that now defined Merry Hollow. The scent of pine and peppermint mingled with the aroma of gingerbread, spiced cider, sweet potato pie, roasting chestnuts, and fragrant incense, creating a sensory celebration of the town's newfound harmony. As the magic settled, the town began to glow with a new, ethereal light. It illuminated the streets and buildings, casting a warm, inviting radiance that seemed to breathe life into every corner. The enchanted Christmas tree at the heart of the town square stood tall and proud, its branches adorned with ornaments that reflected the diverse holiday spirits now intertwined with its magic. The snow-covered rooftops sparkled like diamonds under the glow, while wreaths of evergreen and holly intertwined with vibrant marigolds, strings of colorful lanterns, and intricate paper crafts, creating a festive display that celebrated the unity of the town. Luminarias lined the pathways, their soft glow adding a gentle, welcoming light that complemented the vibrant displays. The townspeople erupted in cheers, their voices filled with joy and relief. They embraced one another, laughter and tears of happiness mingling as they celebrated the successful ritual. The tension that had gripped Merry Hollow for so long finally lifted, replaced by a sense of unity and hope that was almost tangible. Children danced in the streets, their faces lit up with wonder as they marveled at the magical display around them. Adults exchanged warm smiles and heartfelt congratulations, the shared triumph of their community's victory etched on their faces. The sound of carols filled the air, as spontaneous singing broke out among the crowd, their voices blending together in perfect harmony. Traditional songs from various cultures echoed through the streets, creating a rich tapestry of music that reflected the town's diverse heritage. Holly and Jack stood at the center of it all, their hands clasped tightly, their eyes reflecting the magical light that surrounded them. The townspeople turned to them, their cheers growing louder as they hailed the couple as heroes. Holly's cheeks flushed with a mix of pride and humility, her green eyes shining with unshed tears. Jack's ice blue gaze swept over the crowd, a small, grateful smile playing at the corners of his mouth. They had done it, together, they had saved Merry Hollow and forged a new path for its future. The love and gratitude that radiated from the townspeople were palpable, a testament to the profound impact Holly and Jack had made on their community. The town council, led by Brigadier Nutcracker, stepped forward, their faces solemn yet filled with gratitude. Citizens of Merry Hollow, Brigadier Nutcracker began, his voice carrying over the crowd. Today, we stand witness to a miracle, a testament to the power of unity and cooperation. Holly and Jack have shown us the true strength of our community, and it is a lesson we must never forget. Our town has grown, evolved, and become stronger through the diverse traditions that now call Merry Hollow home. The council members nodded in agreement, their expressions reflecting the profound impact of the day's events. They turned to Holly and Jack, their voices blending together as they spoke. On behalf of the town council and all the residents of Merry Hollow, we thank you. Your courage, your love, and your unwavering dedication have brought us to this moment of triumph. You are not just our heroes, you are the embodiment of our town's spirit, and we are forever in your debt. Your actions have not only saved our town but have also paved the way for a brighter, more inclusive future. The townspeople cheered once more, their voices echoing through the streets, a chorus of gratitude and celebration that filled the air with a palpable sense of joy and unity. Holly and Jack looked out at the sea of faces, their hearts swelling with pride and love for the community they had fought so hard to protect. In that moment, they knew that Merry Hollow's future was bright, a future built on the foundation of unity, cooperation, and the unbreakable bonds of its people. The streets of Merry Hollow hummed with an energy that was both familiar and entirely new. The townspeople bustled about, stringing up lights that shimmered in hues of red, green, blue, gold, and vibrant purples and oranges, each color representing a different holiday tradition now woven into the town's fabric. Garlands of pine and holly intertwined with vibrant marigolds, paper lanterns, and intricate tinsel, creating a tapestry of festive decorations that stretched from one end of the town to the other. The scent of gingerbread and peppermint mingled with the aroma of spiced cider, sweet potato pie, roasting chestnuts, and fragrant herbs, a sensory symphony that reflected the harmonious blend of magics that now defined Merry Hollow. Holly and Jack stood on the balcony of their home, overlooking the town square. They watched as their neighbors and friends worked together, laughter and chatter filling the air. The enchanted Christmas tree at the heart of the square stood tall and proud, its branches adorned with ornaments that sparkled with the diverse holiday spirits now intertwined with its magic. The town square was alive with activity, as residents set up tables laden with festive foods and treats, each one a representation of the diverse traditions that now coexisted in Merry Hollow. The sounds of children playing and the warm hum of conversation created a lively atmosphere that was both comforting and celebratory. "It's amazing, isn't it?" Holly murmured, her green eyes reflecting the festive lights below. "How far we've come, how much we've learned. Merry Hollow has transformed into something even more magical than we could have imagined." Jack nodded, his ice blue gaze sweeping over the scene. "We started this journey with so many questions, so much uncertainty. But look at us now. Look at Merry Hollow. Our town has become a beacon of unity and diversity, a place where different traditions can coexist and thrive." Holly leaned into him, her voice soft with reflection. "We've faced our fears, challenged our beliefs, and found a strength we never knew we had. And not just us, the whole town. We've grown, we've changed, and we're better for it. Our community is stronger, more vibrant, and more welcoming than ever before." Jack wrapped an arm around her, pulling her close. "We've learned that change isn't something to fear, but to embrace. That diversity isn't a threat, but a source of strength. And that love is the most powerful magic of all. It has the power to unite, to heal, and to create something truly extraordinary." Below them, the townspeople began to gather, their faces alight with anticipation. The grand celebration was about to begin, a testament to the unity and harmony they had all fought so hard to achieve. The air was filled with a sense of hope and excitement, a palpable energy that seemed to shimmer and dance with the festive lights. The sound of music filled the air, as musicians from various traditions began to play, their melodies blending together in a harmonious symphony that celebrated the town's newfound diversity. The rhythmic beats of drums, the melodic strains of flutes, and the soothing sounds of harps created a rich tapestry of sound that seemed to weave the very fabric of Merry Hollow's new identity. Holly turned to Jack, her eyes shining with unshed tears. "We did it, Jack. We saved Merry Hollow, and we found our place in the world. Together. Our love and dedication have brought us to this moment, and I couldn't be prouder of what we've accomplished." Jack smiled, his thumb gently brushing away a tear that escaped down her cheek. "Together," he echoed, his voice filled with love and pride. "We've not only saved our town but have also created a future that is brighter and more magical than we ever imagined. Our journey has been filled with challenges, but it has also been filled with love, growth, and the discovery of our true selves." As the first notes of a festive tune began to play, Holly and Jack shared a moment of quiet triumph. They looked out at the town they had fought to protect, the community they had helped to unite, and they knew that the future was filled with magical possibilities. The town of Merry Hollow was ready to embrace its new destiny, and Holly and Jack were ready to embrace their own. The streets below were alive with celebration, and the air was filled with the sweet scent of unity and hope. The future of Merry Hollow was bright, and Holly and Jack were at the heart of it all, their love and dedication guiding the town toward a future that was as magical as it was inclusive. Chapter 22, Winter Wonderland Wedding. The town square of Merry Hollow shimmered beneath a canopy of twinkling lights, transforming into a breathtaking winter wonderland that seemed to have been plucked straight from a storybook. Ice sculptures, crafted with meticulous care, glistened under the soft glow of the enchanted lights, each one a testament to Jack's artistic touch and his deepening connection with the town. The air was filled with the scent of fresh pine and sweet peppermint, a comforting blend that seemed to wrap the entire town in a cozy, familiar embrace, evoking memories of holidays past and promises of joyous seasons yet to come. The gentle hum of Christmas carols, sung by an invisible chorus, added a melodic backdrop to the scene, harmonizing with the rustling of festive decorations swaying gently in the crisp winter breeze. Holly and Jack stood at the center of it all, their hearts pounding with a mix of excitement and nervous anticipation, like children on the cusp of unwrapping a much-awaited present. The townspeople gathered around them, dressed in their finest festive attire, each outfit more dazzling than the last. Velvet gowns in rich shades of red and green, adorned with sparkling jewels and intricate embroidery, mingled with tailored suits trimmed with holly and ivy, creating a sea of vibrant colors that seemed to dance under the magical lights. Children clutched tiny bouquets of mistletoe, their eyes wide with wonder and innocence, while older residents dabbed at their eyes with handkerchiefs, overcome with emotion and memories of love that had stood the test of time. The scent of pine and warm gingerbread wafted through the air, as laughter and joyous chatter filled the town square, weaving a tapestry of sound that was as comforting as it was exhilarating. Everyone took their seats, eager to witness the long-awaited union of their beloved Holly and Jack, the couple who had time and again proven their dedication to Merry Hollow, and whose love story had become as integral to the town's fabric as its eternal Christmas magic. The air buzzed with anticipation, as if the very essence of Merry Hollow was holding its breath, waiting for the moment that would forever be etched in its magical history. Holly walked down the aisle, her curly red hair cascading down her back like a waterfall of rubies, adorned with delicate snowflakes that shimmered and danced in the magical lights, as if whispering secrets of her journey. Her dress, a stunning creation of silk and lace, seemed to float around her, capturing the essence of a fresh snowfall with every step she took, leaving a trail of glittering ice crystals that melted into tiny, sparkling puddles. The townspeople watched in awe, their faces alight with smiles and tears of happiness, as Holly made her way towards Jack, her eyes locked onto his, reflecting a love that was as profound as it was magical. The train of her gown whispered softly against the cobblestones, a gentle rhythm that seemed to echo the beating of their hearts, steady and true. The soft jingling of sleigh bells, hidden within the folds of her dress, added a whimsical melody to her procession, a subtle nod to the enchantment that had brought them together. Jack waited at the altar, his ice-blue eyes filled with a love so profound it seemed to warm the very air around him, melting away any lingering doubts or fears. His shimmering blue coat, now a symbol of his integrated place in Merry Hollow, caught the light, casting a soft glow that made him appear almost ethereal, a winter prince from a fairy tale come to life. As Holly approached, he reached out, taking her hand in his, their fingers intertwining in a silent promise of forever. The touch sent a ripple of magic through them, a testament to their unique bond, and the air around them shimmered with a soft, icy glow, as if nature itself was blessing their union. The enchanted lights above seemed to dance in celebration, casting a kaleidoscope of colors that reflected in the ice sculptures surrounding them, creating a spectacle that was as mesmerizing as it was magical. Brigadier Nutcracker stood before them, his uniform crisp and polished, a solemn yet joyful expression on his carved wooden face. He cleared his throat, the sound echoing through the silent square, commanding the attention of all present, from the youngest child to the oldest resident. With a voice resonating with warmth and authority, he began the ceremony. "Dearly beloved," he said, his gaze sweeping over the assembled crowd, "we gather here today to celebrate the union of Holly Evergreen and Jack Frost. Their love has not only brought them together but has also united our town in ways we never thought possible. It has strengthened our bonds, renewed our spirits, and reminded us of the true magic of Merry Hollow. Through their adventures and trials, they have shown us the power of friendship, the strength of community, and the unbreakable bonds of love." His words seemed to carry a magic of their own, wrapping around the hearts of the townspeople, drawing them closer together in a shared moment of joy and unity. Holly and Jack exchanged vows, their voices steady and clear, carrying the weight of their shared journey and the promises they made to each other. Each word they spoke was a testament to their struggles and their triumphs, a promise to stand by each other through joy and sorrow, through all the seasons of life, through every challenge Merry Hollow might face. Their love shone brightly in their eyes, a beacon that seemed to embrace the entire town, reassuring and inspiring, a light that would guide them all through the darkest nights and the coldest winters. As they slipped rings onto each other's fingers, a soft, magical breeze rustled through the square, scattering sparkling snowflakes and the sweet scent of peppermint, a blessing from the very heart of Merry Hollow, a town that had become as much a part of their love story as they had become a part of its magic. The breeze carried with it the whispers of ancient winter spirits, their voices blending with the rustling of the leaves and the distant chiming of sleigh bells, a harmonious symphony of approval and celebration. As Brigadier Nutcracker pronounced them married, the town erupted in applause, a thunderous sound that seemed to shake the very foundations of Merry Hollow, echoing the joy and celebration that filled every heart. A magical snowfall, more enchanting than any seen before, began to drift down from the sky, each flake a tiny, sparkling blessing, a symbol of new beginnings and eternal love. Holly and Jack shared their first kiss as a married couple, their love a tangible force that seemed to illuminate the entire square, intertwining with the magic of Merry Hollow and promising a future brighter than any Christmas morning, a future filled with love, laughter, and endless possibilities. Chapter 23, Multi-Holiday Festival. The town square of Merry Hollow transformed into a vibrant tapestry of global festivities, a testament to the harmonious blend of holiday magics that now thrived within its borders. Residents and visitors alike marveled at the seamless integration of diverse traditions, each corner of the square dedicated to a different celebration. The air buzzed with excitement and the tantalizing aroma of international delicacies, the sweet scent of holly's sugar magic wafting through the crisp winter air, and the melodic hum of various holiday tunes that filled every nook and cranny. The magic manifested in delightful treats that catered to every palate and preference, from candy cane-striped biscotti dipped in rich dark chocolate to warm, spiced churros dusted with powdered sugar, and even delicate French macarons in an array of festive colors, their sweet fillings infused with a hint of enchantment. Holly and Jack led the festivities, their hands intertwined, embodying the spirit of unity that had become the heart of Merry Hollow. They moved from one celebration to the next, their laughter infectious, their joy genuine. Holly's eyes sparkled brighter than any ornament, her smile a beacon of warmth and love that touched everyone she met. She wore a festive sweater adorned with symbols of various holidays, a testament to her embrace of the town's new diversity. A string of colorful lights adorned her pointed witch hat, casting a soft glow on her curly red hair. Jack, ever the diplomat, ensured each tradition was celebrated with unique activities that honored their origins while incorporating a touch of Merry Hollow's charm. His shimmering blue coat caught the light of 1,000 decorations, casting an ethereal glow that captivated those around him. Their every step was followed by a trail of glittering magic, a visible manifestation of the bond they shared and the love they poured into their community. As they walked, the snow beneath their feet seemed to dance, forming intricate patterns that mirrored the festive spirit above. At the Hanukkah corner, dreidels spun on ice platforms created by Jack, while Holly's magic-crafted chocolate gelt that tasted like pure joy, melting on the tongue with a burst of sweet, nostalgic warmth. Children gathered around, their eyes wide with delight as they watched the spinning tops and savored the magical treats. Nearby, the menorah stood tall, its flames burning brightly with a magical intensity that never waned. Jack organized a dreidel tournament, with prizes ranging from small trinkets to enchanted dreidels that guaranteed a win with every spin. The air was filled with the sound of laughter and friendly competition, as the townspeople came together to celebrate the Festival of Lights. Meanwhile, the Diwali celebration featured a stunning rangoli made of colored ice, illuminated by floating diyas that cast a warm, inviting glow. The intricate patterns of the rangoli seemed to dance in the light, telling stories of ancient battles and divine interventions. Jack organized a friendly competition to create the most intricate ice lanterns, drawing in participants of all ages, their faces alight with concentration and delight. The ice lanterns, each one unique, cast a kaleidoscope of colors across the snow, turning the Diwali corner into a mesmerizing spectacle of light and ice. Above, strings of colorful flags waved gently in the breeze, each one bearing symbols of good fortune and prosperity. The air was filled with the scent of sweet jalebis and savory samosas, their aroma intertwining with the magic of the festival. In another corner, the Kwanzaa celebration showcased a magnificent kinara, its 7 candles burning with flames that danced to the rhythm of African drums. Holly and Jack led a procession of townspeople, each carrying a basket of fruits, nuts, and vegetables, symbolizing the first fruits of the harvest. The baskets were placed beneath the kinara, their contents shimmering with a soft magical glow. The air was filled with the sound of joyous chanting and the beat of the drums, as the townspeople came together to celebrate the principles of unity, self-determination, collective work and responsibility, cooperative economics, purpose, creativity, and faith. The townspeople shared stories of their favorite holiday memories, each tale weaving a thread in the rich tapestry of Mary Hollow's new identity. Laughter echoed through the square as Jack recounted his first encounter with a particularly mischievous Yule elf, who had hidden his boots in the town's giant gingerbread house, leaving him to hop through the snow in a futile search. Holly shared the heartwarming story of her first Christmas in Mary Hollow, when she discovered the true magic of the town, the sense of community and belonging that had wrapped around her like a warm embrace. Her voice, filled with emotion, drew the listeners in, making them feel as if they were experiencing that magical moment alongside her. As she spoke, delicate snowflakes began to fall, each one shimmering with a soft light that seemed to echo the magic of her words. The snowflakes settled gently on the shoulders of the crowd, leaving a dusting of sparkling magic that lingered long after the story had ended. As the festivities continued, Holly and Jack found a quiet moment amidst the bustling crowd. They stood beneath a canopy of twinkling lights, each a different color, representing the myriad of holidays now celebrated in Mary Hollow. Their eyes met, and in that shared glance, they reflected on the journey that had brought them here, the challenges they had faced, the friendships they had forged, and the love that had grown with each passing day. The lights above them seemed to pulse in rhythm with their hearts, a silent acknowledgement of the magic that bound them together. Around them, the air was filled with the soft hum of distant carols, the aroma of sweet treats, and the warmth of a community united in celebration. The gentle rustling of leaves from the enchanted Christmas tree added a comforting undertone to the symphony of sounds, its branches swaying gently as if in approval of the harmonious scene below. The festival reached its crescendo with a spectacular display of magical fireworks, a symphony of light and sound that filled the night sky. Each burst of color represented a different holiday, a testament to the harmony achieved through the grand ritual. The townspeople watched in awe, their faces upturned, their hearts filled with wonder and joy. As the final firework faded, leaving a trail of stardust in its wake, a collective sigh of contentment swept through the crowd. A whisper of magic lingered in the air, a promise of the bright future that lay ahead for Mary Hollow, a future where every day was a celebration of unity, diversity, and the enduring spirit of holiday magic. The echoes of laughter and music faded slowly, giving way to the peaceful silence of a winter's night, as the town settled into dreams of the vibrant festivities yet to come, their hearts filled with the warmth of shared memories and the anticipation of the magical adventures that awaited them in the days ahead. Chapter 24, Reflections and Resolutions. As the festival drew to a close, Holly and Jack slipped away for a quiet walk through the transformed town. The streets of Mary Hollow were unrecognizable, adorned with a vibrant blend of holiday decorations that sparkled under the soft glow of enchanted lights. Every corner told a story of unity, from the delicate paper lanterns of the Lunar New Year casting a warm glow on the snow, to the intricate kinara of Kwanzaa, their flickering flames reflecting off the ice-kissed windows. Vibrant Dia de los Muertos altars burst with color, while the gentle hum of menorah candles added a soothing melody to the winter air. The scent of sweet pastries, savory dishes, and warm spices wafted from every direction, a testament to the diverse cultures that now called Mary Hollow home. Holly's boots crunched softly on the snow-covered path, her arm tucked securely in Jack's. They walked in comfortable silence, their breaths visible in the crisp winter air. The town's newfound harmony was evident in every laughter-filled gathering they passed, every cheerful greeting exchanged between neighbors. Children played together, their games a blend of traditions, while adults shared stories and recipes from their unique heritages. It was a stark contrast to the chaos they had faced mere days ago, a reminder of the challenges they had overcome together. "Remember when we first discovered the Yule Lodestone?" Holly mused, her voice barely above a whisper, her breath forming a soft cloud in the air. "I never imagined we'd be here, like this. The town transformed, our lives forever changed." Jack nodded, his ice blue eyes reflecting the twinkling lights above, casting a warm glow on his face. "It's been quite the journey, hasn't it? From facing the winter spirits to uniting the town, we've come a long way. But look at this place now. It's more than we could have ever hoped for." Holly smiled, her gaze sweeping over the festive scene. "It is. And it's only the beginning. There's so much more we can do, so many more people we can help. With the Yule Lodestone stabilized and the town's magic harmonized, we have a chance to make a real difference." They paused beneath an archway draped in evergreen boughs and shimmering tinsel, the scent of pine and peppermint filling the air. Holly turned to Jack, her eyes sparkling with determination and the reflection of the enchanted lights. "I want Merry Hollow to be a beacon of hope, a place where everyone can feel the magic of the holidays. I want us to protect that, to nurture it, and to share it with the world." Jack reached up, tucking a stray curl behind her ear, his fingers brushing gently against her cheek. "And we will. Together. We've faced worse than a few rogue spirits, haven't we? From the Kringle clan to the ancient winter magic, we've stood side by side and overcome every challenge." Holly laughed, a warm sound that echoed through the quiet street, drawing smiles from passers-by. "We have. And we'll face whatever comes next, side by side. Whether it's new magical anomalies or the council of seasonal spirits themselves, we'll be ready." As they continued their walk, the townspeople began to notice their presence. Whispers of gratitude and admiration followed them, a tangible reminder of the impact they had made on Merry Hollow. Children waved and called out their names, while adults nodded respectfully, their eyes filled with warmth and appreciation. Holly blushed at the attention, but Jack merely smiled, his chest swelling with pride and a sense of belonging. "You know," he said, his voice low and filled with emotion, "I never thought I'd find a place where I truly belonged. I was always the outsider, the wanderer, searching for a home. But here, with you, I feel like I've finally found my place. Our place." Holly's heart swelled with love, her eyes welling up with tears of happiness. She turned to Jack, ready to reaffirm their commitment to each other and to the town. But before she could speak, a familiar voice called out from behind them, breaking the intimate moment. "Holly! Jack! We heard the news and just had to come see for ourselves." They turned to find a group of old friends and allies approaching, their faces alight with excitement and curiosity. Among them were the Kringle clan, their eyes sparkling with mischief and good humor, and Brigadier Nutcracker, his uniform adorned with new medals that glinted in the festive lights, a testament to his role in the recent adventures. As they exchanged greetings and embraces, a sudden gust of wind swept through the street, carrying with it a faint shimmer of magic that danced in the air like glittering snowflakes. Holly and Jack exchanged a glance, their eyes widening in recognition and shared anticipation. It was a new magical anomaly, a hint of future adventures yet to come, a promise of the ongoing evolution of Merry Hollow's enchantments. But for now, they embraced, ready to face whatever came next. With their reflections complete and their love for each other and the town stronger than ever, Holly and Jack joined the town for a final celebration, knowing their journey was just beginning. The streets filled with music and laughter, the air humming with the united magic of diverse holidays, as Merry Hollow stepped forward into a future filled with hope, change, and endless possibilities. Chapter 25, New Beginnings. The first light of dawn filtered through the frosted windows of Holly and Jack's cozy cottage, casting a warm glow on their faces as they stirred awake. The gentle hum of Merry Hollow's morning melodies drifting in from outside, a comforting symphony of cheer that had become the soundtrack to their lives. The town buzzed with an excitement that seemed to seep into the very walls of their home, a palpable energy that promised a future filled with endless possibilities and magical adventures. Their hearts swelled with anticipation, knowing that this day marked the beginning of a new chapter in their lives and the life of their beloved town. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee, a new tradition they had adopted from one of the many cultures they had encountered, wafted up from the kitchen, beckoning them to start their day. As they made their way downstairs, the aroma of pine and peppermint filling their senses, a gleaming envelope caught their eye, resting prominently on the mantelpiece. The wax seal bore the intricate insignia of a newly formed magical council, a design that combined symbols of various holidays and cultures, inviting them to join its esteemed ranks. Holly's eyes widened with a mix of surprise and pride as she carefully broke the seal, the parchment crackling softly in her hands. She scanned the elegant script within, her voice filled with awe and determination as she read aloud, "Jack, they want us to help shape the future of not just Mary Hollow, but all the magical towns. This is a chance to truly make a difference, to ensure that the magic and wonder of these places continue to thrive and evolve." Jack's ice blue eyes sparkled with resolve as he took the letter from her hands, skimming the contents. He could feel the weight of responsibility settling on his shoulders, but also the thrill of opportunity. "It's an honor, and a responsibility we can't take lightly," he said, his voice steady and sure. "With your intuition and empathy, and my diplomatic skills and strategic thinking, we can ensure that every voice is heard and every tradition is valued. We can create a future where every magical town is united, not isolated, where diversity is celebrated, and change is embraced." In the kitchen, Holly's hands danced over bowls of sugar and spice, her magic infusing the ingredients with a warmth that filled the room. New culinary creations took shape under her skilled touch, each one a testament to the diverse holiday magics they had encountered and harmonized. The scent of gingerbread and peppermint, mingled with the aroma of freshly baked sugar cookies, sweet potato pie, and exotic spices, wafted through the air, a tantalizing promise of the delights that awaited the townsfolk. She hummed a festive tune, her heart light with the joy of creation and the knowledge that her magic was bringing happiness to those she loved. Her baking magic had grown, now encompassing flavors and techniques from various cultures, reflecting the unity and diversity of their magical world. Meanwhile, Jack sat at the worn wooden table, poring over maps and correspondence, his silver hair catching the morning light. His strategic mind was already at work, forging alliances with neighboring towns and ensuring that Mary Hollow would never again be isolated from the wider world of magic and wonder. Each letter he drafted was a bridge, connecting Mary Hollow to other magical communities, each with their own unique traditions and enchantments. He could see the web of unity stretching out before him, a tapestry of magic and friendship that would ensure a brighter future for all. His ice magic shimmered on the parchment, sealing each letter with a touch of Mary Hollow's enchantment. Outside, the town bustled with preparations for the next big celebration. Lights were strung from rooftop to rooftop, decorations hung from every available surface, and the air buzzed with anticipation and the laughter of children. The aroma of pine and roasting chestnuts filled the air, mingling with the scent of freshly fallen snow. Holly and Jack stepped out into the crisp morning air, their breaths visible in the chill, and walked hand in hand through the cobblestone streets. They explored new ways to harmonize the holiday magics that now called Mary Hollow home, greeting friends and neighbors with warm smiles and eager questions. The town was a canvas, and they were the artists, painting a future filled with love, magic, unity, and respect for all traditions. As they reached the town square, they paused, sharing a quiet moment amidst the bustle. Holly looked up at Jack, her green eyes reflecting the festive lights around them, and the love that shone in his gaze. "We've come so far, haven't we? From that first mysterious bonfire to this, a town united, a future filled with love, magic, and endless possibilities," she said, her voice soft, filled with wonder and gratitude. "And to think, it all started with a simple murder mystery and a lost ice prince." Jack nodded, his fingers intertwining with hers, a gentle squeeze conveying his agreement and affection. "And unity. That's what makes Merry Hollow strong, he said, his voice firm with conviction. Not just the magic that flows through our veins and the ley lines beneath our feet, but the bonds we've forged, the love we share, and the friendships we've built. That's the true magic of this place. And it's that unity that will guide us through whatever adventures come next. The final scene hinted at more magical adventures on the horizon, as Holly and Jack looked out over the town they had fought so hard to protect and unite. The future stretched before them, filled with love, magic, unity, and the promise of endless discovery. They stood together, hand in hand, ready to embrace the endless possibilities of their magical town and their future as its guardians and guides, their hearts filled with hope and their spirits unbreakable. As the sun rose higher, casting a golden glow over Merry Hollow, the town seemed to shimmer with anticipation, ready to embrace the next chapter of its magical story.